Hi everybody, welcome back to our live streaming from Columbus, Ohio. This is Origins 2017. Thanks for joining us again. We took a little break there, we're back now. We're going to continue doing what we're doing here, which is taking a look at different games, talking to people from the companies like Michael here, and having a good time. So thanks for joining us. I'm going to kick this one off, all right? Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome back to Origins Summer Preview 2017. We're the Dice Tower, I'm Z Garcia, and this is Michael from Gamelyn Games. Usually when I'm sitting here talking to Michael, we're talking about something tiny and epic. This time we're talking just about one of those two things first, just epic. We'll get to tiny in a second, right Michael?
Indeed.
All right, I will leave this in your hands. Tell me what's going on here, what am I looking at?
Awesome, so this is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. It is Gamelyn's foray into big box games, like you alluded to. It's truly epic this time around. What we've lacked in tiny, we've made up in epic. But
okay.
So this is a 4X game, but it's designed by Scott Alms, so it possesses streamlined rules and a quick gameplay, usually not found in 4X games. This isn't a weekend burner. This plays about a half hour per player. Plays from 1 to 6 players, so you can get full coverage. With 6 players, you'll extend the board and make it even bigger than what you see here.
Okay.
But as you see, this is something that really comes up off the table, and that's something we really concentrated on with this game, from the miniatures to stackable 3D constructs to airships and griffins elevated by stands. And so it really comes alive and very immersive game experience, with highly detailed miniatures by Chad Hoverter of Mice and Mystics and Tail Feathers. People know the quality of his sculpts. And then we also have awesome options of pre-painted miniatures that have just come out beautiful. So I wanted to bring this out and show it off a little bit and just show people how this has come to life.
Sounds good. Talk to me a little bit about the gameplay in this one.
Yeah, so like I was saying, very simplistic engine, and then the strategy really unfolds as you play. But each player is going to have a faction, and they're going to start in a real simple, humble beginnings of two workers, there's 2 serfs and a warrior, and in a level 1 capital city, and then in a capital city board that kind of lays out all of their actions. And then every turn, every round, a player is going to take a turn, and the next player takes a turn, next player takes a turn, and you just kind of rinse and repeat until everybody's taken 2 turns, and then you go into collecting resources. But like is commonly found in Scott's games, there's follow mechanics. So on every turn, when you take a turn, other players have the option of following you based on how they've set themselves up in their capital city to do that. And there's other times where you can follow and then muster to kind of take double actions and things like that. And so through that system, you'll be building up your army by recruiting new serfs, more warriors, building special buildings that allow you to recruit your heroes or get your air constructs or your sea vessels into play, build up your capital city multiple tiers, and every time this tiers up, it's kind of like an umbrella effect or a rising tide where everything gets upgraded with each new tier of your capital city. And then the game triggers end upon the 4 X's. So there's expand once you've got all your serfs and warriors out, exterminate by completely eliminating a player's capital city, exploit by building 3 of these towers throughout the game, and then exploration. There are exploration tokens throughout the board in every region, and then once those have all been explored, that would also trigger the end of the game. And again, it plays about 2 hours or so for 4 players, up to about 3 hours for 6 players, and the solo play is fantastic as well. We've got videos posted that show the solo play, so people can go there and check out the video and see how it plays, but it's awesome.
Sounds good. When is this going to be available?
So we have an estimated delivery to our Kickstarter backers of March in 2018. So we'll follow shortly after that with a retail release.
And what's the MSRP going to be on that release?
So for the base game, it's $100, and that'll include 4 factions, 80 miniatures, over 30 constructs, and this giant board. And then the expansion, which includes another 4 factions, another 80 miniatures, another 30 some odd constructs at $80.
Okay, gotcha. And you mentioned an option to get pre-painted minis. Will that be available as well now that it's after the fundraiser?
No, that was part of the Kickstarter, but we still are taking pledges, late pledges, that people can jump in and get those pre-painted minis. just for a few more weeks, they can hit the Kickstarter page and hit the late pledge button, or head over to our website and we'll direct you back that direction. But that's still an option now. But once it's hit retail, that'll be a coveted special thing. So.
There we go. Okay, sounds good. All right, awesome. Let's get into some epic then, or tiny, I should say,
yes.
Epic goodness.
Well, and I know we're strapped on time, so I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I do want to say that Tiny Epic Galaxies Beyond the Black is the first full box expansion to Tiny Epic Galaxies, our popular game that hit tabletop with Will Wheaton. This is just debuting here at Origins. It's not available in retail yet, but it will be next month.
Okay.
So keep your eye open for this one. It adds pilots with more variable powers, specialized awesome ships that are just really cool, unique designs.
Oh, nice.
And also some pressure luck and some set collection. Some new bonus victory points at the end, so that are kind of hidden information.
Okay.
So you never know exactly who's going to win. Lots of new stuff. It doesn't really increase the length of play by much more than about 10 or 15 minutes once the players understand all what's been added. So definitely check that one out, coming soon.
Is that a modular expansion? Do you add some parts and not others if you want, or is it all in?
We encourage go all in, but once you're familiar with the concepts, you feel free to kind of dabble in what you like.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Following that up, I want to show real quick Tiny Epic Quest. This one is actually going to be hitting backers' doorsteps in August. I just wanted to bust out these item meeples and just show how awesome this is. This is a production copy. You see how beautiful and vibrant it is. It comes to life. It's a sandbox adventure game, very puzzly. This one's all about trying to be efficient with limited movements and trying to solve different puzzles about acquiring artifacts from deep in the dungeons and things of that nature. But Z, I gotta have you handle these item meeples.
These are cool.
Take those items out. It's plug and play. You know, you get to
you
kind of
take them
customize
off, so
your
you
heroes.
can take off the sword and the shield there, and you can then go in here. Oh, I'm gonna give this guy a lamp, like a lantern. So plug in the lantern on him there. But the other hand's gonna get that sword right back, I think.
And you see how smooth that goes in?
This guy wants to be able to see what he's killing. That is pretty cool. That's nice and smooth, looks great. Easy to tell what they're holding. Really neat stuff, really neat stuff. Yeah, I like that.
So, thought you would. I thought you were really proud of the item meeples. And we're gonna be doing a lot with item meeples in the future, so expect to see more from item meeples. But lastly, I'll wrap up real quick. Tiny Epic Defenders is getting a full overhaul, brand new art all throughout the game, new mechanic upgrades. We're really taking it to the next level, and we've expanded it with Tiny Epic Defenders The Dark War, adding a lot of awesome, meaningful decisions to the game. This is hitting Kickstarter in August, so keep your eyes peeled on new, beautiful, more entries in the Tiny Epic series.
And that's for both, the Kickstarter is for both the new revamped base set and the expansion available for the first time.
That's correct.
Okay, sounds good. There you have it. Lots of good and new stuff. Big, tiny, they're covering everything. Good talking to you, my friend.
Thanks, Z.
Yeah, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Like a pro.
Forget it now. Listen, what?
Okay, we're with Michael. Michael, how are you?
Great, how you doing?
Great to see you. Now, I heard pre-painted minis?
Yes.
Are you trying to put me out of business, bro?
Look at this guy. Check him out.
Don't be doing that. They're gonna put me out of business. Everybody wanted to see a close-up. Here, let's give you that.
Thank you.
All right, real quick. And if we could get a nice close-up of some of this stuff, everybody's really kind of anxious to
Please.
see how this is. Is it easier if I hold it up? These are pre-painted minis. This is a good sized board, my friend.
Well, and this is just part of it. If you're playing 6 players, you extend it even further. But yeah, this is a 4-player board, and it's huge. This is not tiny. This is just pure epic.
So this is the quality that you're going to get out of this?
That's right.
This is very nice. Let's show the ogre. Oh, how's that? Does that look pretty good? All right. And then we got this dude here. There we go. And we're really trying to get a good look because everybody really wanted to see these things up close.
Please.
And the pre-paint, now will you be able to get it not painted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, the retail version of the game, which will be in limited supply, is not painted, and so you kind of get some samples of those figures. But for the Kickstarter, and we're still accepting late pledges for a few more weeks, so if people jump on the Kickstarter, they can find their way to it. But that is how you can get these pre-painted versions, and not for very much more. It ends up being like almost, somebody worked out the math, like almost like $1.66 per mini to get them pre-painted.
Wow, that's really good, and it's good quality plastic. I mean, it's not that cheap plastic. So you guys got something really nice here.
Thank you.
All right, and we can expect this again just to make sure.
March of 2018.
March of 2018.
Is the delivery to the Kickstarter backers, and then shortly after that, we'll do some retail. So.
All right, our Q&A's down actually, but hey, thank you so much for at least bringing this over here and showing us up close.
My pleasure.
And all your other great stuff that you got coming and going.
Oh yes.
Oh.
You got to handle the item meeples.
This is another thing that everybody, I think, wanted to see. But we're working with it here.
So take the items out and put it back in, and then just give your feedback on how that experience is. I just want people to know the engineering efforts we have gone through to make this.
Now I got
right.
some meat hooks on me, so I'm gonna tell you. Normally I would break this in half a second, just because I'm clumsy. But this goes in and out nice, and it stays pretty well.
Yeah. And
That's
you can
amazing.
rotate it in case you want to have your sword tilted, or
because I'm left-handed.
Make your guy, gangster or something, and mix it up a little.
No, definitely. I mean, look at this. I'm left-handed, so you can, if you want to role play it, you can make them left-handed.
Heck yeah.
There we go. That's amazing. Let's take a look at this. Good. Wow. Perfect. Let's see if I can get it back in. And I don't even have my glasses on. That's easy. That's amazing.
So those are the item meeples featured for the first time in Tiny Epic Quest. That'll be going to backers in August, and then shortly after that into retail and available on Amazon. So check it out there. But the item meeples are something we're incredibly excited about at Gamelyn Games. We're the first to bring something just like this to the market, and we're going to explore it with other games. We're going to continue to build upon the item meeples concept, adding things to their back. Eventually, we'd like to get them up inside mechs that clip on both sides. I mean, we've got some dreams about these item meeples. So
that's just amazing. Well, there you go. Thank you, Michael. I want to thank you so much for coming here today. We appreciate having you. Thanks for moving this over and doing this for us. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
All right, there you have it.
Yeah, so we're probably down to about 50 copies. I swear, that's Hey Tiff, how you doing? No, I got it.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our Origin Summer Preview 2017. I'm Z Garcia. I'm here with Philip from Osprey Games. How you doing, Philip?
I'm doing well, I'm doing really good.
Good to have you. You're going to be telling us a little bit about Star Cartel, and then another game we'll get to in just a second. But for right now, let's dive right into this. Looks great. What's going on in it?
All right, so in Star Cartel, it's a game for 3-6 players where you are smugglers in space. Basically, getting your hands full of various goods like guns, illegal fauna, food items, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And you try and smuggle it for the Star Cartel, but also putting some aside for yourself. And what happens at every single turn is there's this hub here, and we're going to take from the bottom row. You take 1 or 2 cards.
Okay.
So you take 1, and then I could take that one now.
Oh,
and then you
I
just
see.
refill it.
And they fall to the bottom there.
Fall to the bottom.
Okay.
And the only important thing is really which type they are, the color, and then how much space they're taking. Because my ship has a limited amount of space.
Got it.
And when I filled up my ship, so it's entirely full, or there's nothing at the bottom I can load, I'm going to ship it. Now when I ship a good in this game, the good I have the most size of here would be the red meds. I would move the matching token up 2 spaces.
Okay.
So these aren't the right color tokens because it's a prototype, but say 1, 2. And then whichever is the lowest, you'd move down 1.
Okay.
And they would get discarded. So the ones I'm changing the prices of, I don't get to touch. Then this third type I get to stash away for myself, and that's the one I'm going to score at the end of the game.
Got it.
And then as an added bonus, I get a new ship, which is bigger, and as the game goes on, you're also going to be getting special abilities with these.
Interesting. So every time you ship and keep some, you get a brand new ship.
You get a brand new ship, which as you get towards the end, they're worth bigger points. So there's a balance in the game of if you ship often, you get bigger ships, you get abilities, you get more valuable ships. If you take a little bit longer, you can manipulate more how you're affecting the prices and which goods you have, because if I'm shipping and I have the same amount of 2 goods, say those are my lowest, I can choose which one I want to move down.
Okay.
So you get, the more careful and slow you are, the more control you have over the market.
Do you keep everything else then?
So you only ever keep your third color.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
And it's about balancing that. And the other thing is that adds attention is that because you're constantly affecting the price of goods, that you can never affect the price of a good that you take in the same turn.
Right.
So it means you want to be pushing goods after you've earned them before you've earned them. But if you ever push anything above 9, it crashes all the way back down to 1. So you're slowly edging it close to here. Don't want to get too close where 1 or 2 players could just suddenly make it crash.
Sure. Right. So if someone knows you're keeping green, they could make it crash.
Exactly that. Or they might just try and push it down the slow way.
Right.
And it's a game where you both want to have a long-term plan and work towards it, but then also need to be very flexible. If it looks like green's, gonna just flush out and bottom out, then you're gonna want to jump ship and just start stacking other goods as well.
Right. So how's the scoring play out at the end then? Is it this times these? How's that work?
So every card, regardless of the value, is just going to be worth whatever its piece is on.
Okay.
So the value is only matter for the
was.
shipping. Yeah, exactly that.
And you just add up what you kept.
Add up what
highest
you
score is
kept,
the win.
and add the value of your ship.
Okay, got it. Excellent,
Right,
very
now
cool.
let's
Sounds
talk
like a fairly short game then.
Yeah, half an hour is a sort of average game, like maybe a bit longer at 6 players.
Up to 6 players, nice and tactical, very cool. When is this going to be coming out? Obviously, as Philip said, this is a prototype we're looking at here. Artwork is final.
Yeah, everything about it is fine except the printing.
Except the printing itself, right. So when is it going to be available?
So it's looking to be a Spiel release.
Okay, so that is October, November, right?
October, yeah.
October, okay. Excellent, very nice. Up to 6 players.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's take a look at the one we've got hanging out on the side. You've got a really big board there. I'm gonna stack some of these things up and just push them aside for now. We'll come back to the contraband later on.
Right. So this is, I don't know, where's a good place to put it?
Yeah, I'll hang on to that and I'll show that right there. Zoo Ball.
All right. So Zoo Ball is a dexterity game
Whoa.
for 2 or 4 players.
Okay, cool.
You have teams of animals, and each team has 3 blockers and 1 scorer.
Okay, got it.
And if you're playing, say, a head-to-head, the aim is to get 3 points first. In a 4-player free-for-all, it's first to 1 point.
Okay.
And very, very simply, on your turn, these will just be around the board somewhere. You either get to flick just your scorer, or all 3 of your blockers.
Okay, got
The
it.
trick is you only score if your scorer gets into the goal. The
Got
blockers can't score, but you can use them to get yourself towards goal or to block the other player.
Oh, so you can use it on your own piece.
Yeah,
Interesting.
you can use them on your own piece and enemy pieces. If you go off the side, if this is a 2-player game here, if you go off the side, then you just push yourself back on the sideline. But if you go off the opponent's side, you go all the way back to your own side.
Where you left off on
where
this
you
side.
left off, so that's
Got it.
sort of match peg roughly.
Sure, yeah. No, it's easy to see.
Yeah. And then the 4-player game, same idea. It's first to 1 goal, but the trick is that everyone now needs to defend everyone's goal.
Sure.
Because even if I'm red scoring on the blue goal on the other side, if white is close scoring on black, then I'm going to want to defend that because if they score, they
You
still
don't win.
So it becomes a lot more chaotic, but also one where you have to do a lot more defending.
Yeah, this actually, I have to say, it slides extremely well on this. This is what the board will look like?
Yeah.
The mat, I should say.
So this is one of our advances. It's been folded slightly differently, but yeah. But this is how it will look like. This is how it will feel like. If you add a little bit fold, you can backfold a bit and it lies really flat.
Right.
And yeah, it just slides really quickly. You don't need to put a lot of power into it at all.
Yeah, you really don't. It's surprising how smoothly that moves on that surface. Yeah. It's a little bit of a felt, but it's not fuzzy necessarily.
No.
It's a very nice finish to it.
And yeah, so all these are different animals, and there's enough discs for 4 teams. There's enough stickers for 6 teams, so you can mix and match the different teams as you want them.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, so there we have it. Zoo Ball. When is that going to be available?
That should be out at Gen Con, so in August.
Okay, Gen Con in August. Do you know the prices for these?
So both of those should be going at $30.
$30. Okay, Zoo Ball for $30. Star Cartel for $30. Very cool. This is neat looking stuff. Philip, good talking to you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming by and showing these off. Really neat. And thanks everybody for tuning in. We're going to see you real soon.
There I am. Right in front of the camera. Nice job. How are you? Philip from Osprey Games. Here, you can hold on to this. All right, we got a couple questions for you, my good friend. First of all, Mini line for Dracula's America release.
Yes. So I'm not necessarily the right person to
See, they gotta ask all the hard questions.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
I deal
they
with
gotta
the board
put you
game
right on the
stuff.
spot. Don't make me shake it out of you. They want to know. Can't.
I just can't. That's
Okay.
not my
I tried.
side of the business.
I tried.
I'm sorry.
The Citadel. Can you steal goods from others?
Is this more war games questions?
No, this is the Star
Cartel.
Star Cartel.
Okay,
Excuse me.
that's what confused me.
Sorry.
No, so most of the interaction will be in those prices, trying to crash prices or lower prices, but also taking goods, because some important interaction is that you want to load up your ship, and if you manage to load up so it's exactly full,
Right.
then you essentially get to go faster. You get to ship right away. Otherwise, you have to wait until the next turn.
Okay.
So one of the important things you might want to do is make it so that the player can't fill it up exactly, or has to take a certain good when they don't want to and want to ship.
Okay.
So some timing things, there's some abilities, and the big thing are those prices. And try and keep a track on what the other players are stocking up on and
Right,
what they're
right.
boosting and all that.
Cool. Now, Zoo Ball.
Yeah.
What are the discs going to be made of?
So the discs are wooden.
Oh, they're wooden
Yeah,
discs?
they're wooden discs.
Okay. And is that like what type of material is the mat?
So it's, I can't remember what the actual term is. It's quite felt-like, but it's not very fuzzy at all.
Okay.
It's quite thin as well and light.
Okay. Are the players going to have stats?
In Zoo
What's the
Ball-
difference between all the teams?
Oh, there's no difference in the teams. It's a
Okay.
very, very
Very
basic,
light game?
Very light, and the game is both with dexterity, but also is quite tactical because
Right.
you have the choice every single turn. Do I go for my scorer, who's the only one I can score with, or do I go all three defenders and maybe help my position or fend off the attacker? If someone's at medium distance from my goal, my choice is either I fend them away, or I put my score somewhere where they can't ignore them.
Right.
And then you always, especially in the four-player game, when there's suddenly, well, you're really close to goal, but there's another player between you and him. So I'm going to let you deal with it, and I'm going to go ahead and try and advance my position.
Great. The last thing I got here for you, Frostgrave. What's the next things that you guys got coming out for that?
So the big thing with Frostgrave currently is Ghost Archipelago. And again, I'm not the right person to talk about it, but that's the
Okay.
one that we're internally really excited about, and hopefully everyone else is too.
Oh, they are. They are. They can't wait for it. All right, that's our man Philip from Osprey Games. Philip, thank you so much for coming by. We appreciate it. Hey, let's send it back to you guys.
Hello everybody and welcome back to our Origin Summer Preview 2017. I am sitting here with Mike from Ogre Foot, and he's going to be showing us a quick look here at a game he's got coming out on Kickstarter later on. We're going to get to all those details in a second, and it is called, help me pronounce this here, Gods of Tinhara?
Correct.
Yes. Got it. All right, Mike, tell me a little bit about it, please.
All right, so it's a 2 to 4 player game,
Yep.
and it is a drafting game, also with player elimination. So each player chooses one of these character sheets. So in our example, we're going to play Angels and Demons.
Okay, which is these two here.
So we'll grab these, and
So I got to be angels? All right.
Mhm.
Why not?
So then we put each of the cubes on the stars. These are one-time use only during the game.
Got it. So we're loading these up here.
And then we put the meeple on 15, which is your maximum life.
15 life.
So each of these
That's
decks,
what that looks like, folks.
each of these decks is exactly the same, except for this one's obviously demons, this one's angels, but they all
Okay.
have the same cards in them. So what we would normally do, shuffle these together, and then we would deal out 5 to you, 5 to me, draft one, pass it, draft, pass it. You don't have to draft your own angels, you don't have to draft demons, but there's a benefit to doing that later.
Okay.
So after the draft is over, then you take one of your Vorpal shards, and you can put it in one of 3 places. You can put it on the character portrait, which will give you a discount on any demons that you would cast, or in your case, angels. if you
Okay,
put
got
over
it, if
there.
I do that.
So it's a one Mystic Shard discount. Or you can play it on one of these 4 abilities. So for instance, if I put it on this one right here for gain 1 Mystic Shard and gain 1 Soul Shard, draw a card, then I can use it once I go down to 7 life, where the Vorpal Shard is right there.
Yeah.
So then I can use it for a second time. Otherwise, you can't use it.
Got it.
The third spot is to put it on the skull, where it will save your life 1 time. So for instance, if I was down to 2 life and I took 3 damage, this would consume the Vorpal Shard and put me back to 5 life.
Ooh.
After that, then you die.
Got it. Got it.
So that's up to you, but based on your draft, how well it went, if you got a whole bunch of demons, you might want to put it here. If you didn't get a bunch of demons, or you feel like you want to do something else, it just depends on the situation.
Right.
So let's just say, for example, basically I should also say that this game scales for the number of players, so the maximum hand size is 2 plus the number of players. So if you play with 4 people, then obviously it would be 6 people, 6 cards.
Got it.
So in our case, it's 4. So the way this works is you start with 3 Mystic Shards, each player does.
Okay.
And the way you cast the spell is right here on top left-hand side. This is the cost.
Right here, got it.
Some of them have 0, so they'll be free.
Okay.
So for instance, if I played this one, I could choose to draw a card, Mystic Shard, or a Soul Shard. Soul Shards are used to purchase these soul cards later, and I'll explain that in just a minute.
Okay, cool.
So say I draw a card, and let me just for the sake of it, get some creatures here. So since I have my Vorpal Shard here, I pay for 1 to put this demon in my defense zone, okay? Defense zone, attack zone. And the reason they're like that is because in the story of Tinhara, there's a portal in the middle. The creatures cannot go against the magic flow of the portal, so you always have to attack to the left, defend from the right.
Okay, got it.
So if there was 4 players, you have to kind of watch to see how that player's doing compared to this player, because if that player's loaded up with creatures, you may not want this guy to die real fast. You might want to take care of some other stuff. So you kind of got to think about that.
Huh, okay.
But anyway, in our case, it's just 2 people. So I would put this in defense zone, and say I put this one in attack zone. So when I attack, all damage is done simultaneously. So I attack this way, and then we resolve it.
Okay.
And then you would attack this way and resolve it. So you couldn't possibly die before me if we're playing. So.
Got it.
But then when creatures die, you gain these soul shards, and you put them on your portrait. So then the next turn, during the preparation phase, when you reset to 3 crystals, draw to max hand size, move your creatures however you want, then there's the ability to purchase these soul shards. So if I had 3 soul shards, I put it right here, and then I can buy this card. And instead of going to the discard pile, it goes directly to my hand. Use it instantly.
Got it. Got it.
And then I could pay 1 for a soul fire, deal 3 damage to any target. And
that's after you draft, and that card does not move around.
That's
you
correct.
Get
it's
that
part
one.
of your deck now, and then it would be discarded. And then if you run out of cards, you shuffle it up, and it's back in your deck.
Got it.
So basically, it's just that, and you try to survive, be the last person in battle.
And that's up to 4 players doing this simultaneously, then.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Very cool. Tell us a little bit about when this is coming to Kickstarter, how much you're looking at, and possibly even when you're thinking it might, if you fund, when it might release.
Okay, so it is practically done. I mean, the only thing I've got left is some graphic stuff, possibly a new box cover. I commissioned a new piece of art for that, so we'll see how that turns out.
Okay.
But it should be on Kickstarter in July.
Okay, July.
And
got
it's
it.
going to be $29. So
$29.
it should be reasonably priced.
Yeah, cool. And do you have a projected date for when it would come out?
Yeah, when I talk to the people that create the games, it's going to take probably about 3 or 4 months to get it printed and back to me.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that when it ends in July, the end of July, that we would have it before Christmas, probably November.
Sounds good. Cool. All right, so July, Gods of Tinhara. Keep an eye out for it, folks. Looks interesting. It's got a cool look to it. The artwork is really kind of captivating, so that's pretty neat. Good talking to you.
Yeah,
thanks for coming by and showing this off to us. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Again, Gods of Tinhara, check it out, July Kickstarter. We'll see you real soon. All right, cool, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
you got it. Good talking to you, brother.
You too.
Let me get that mic off of you before you go.
All right. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great time watching everything that we are doing from Origins. We're having a great time. We're checking out all the new stuff, and as you can see, we are really going through a lot. Anybody have any questions while you're at it, while they're getting set up for Mayfair? Which is next? I know Derek's, that poor guy's been behind that board the entire time. Yeah, there he is. Touch me, please. And Mike's been doing such a great job. First of all, take a bow. All right,
thank you.
Take a bow. Mike has been the MVP, and then let's just be realistic. There's only one real superstar in the Dice Tower, and that's Z Garcia.
Thank you. Okay, there we go.
See, do you have anything for us? See, today is 90 degrees, humid, in downtown Columbus, Ohio.
That's right, Timmy. It's a hot one. Back to you in the studio.
Back to you in the studio, Steve.
Calling in from the news chopper here.
Your hair is perfect.
It glistens in the light, my soul. How's the interwebs doing?
Somebody is actually having cheese and wheat thins for lunch. What do we do? What do we do?
Siri's listening to us.
Quiet. Siri's had a real problem with me.
Yeah?
She's been following me around here.
Here's the thing is, if you say, "Are you serious?" it sometimes thinks you're talking to Siri.
Really?
Yeah, that's happened to me a few times.
I just thought she
Where
had,
like someone says something crazy and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And then she starts listening to me.
I thought she just had a crush on me, wanted to hang out.
That could be it too.
No.
Your phone just lit up.
My phone blew up?
All right, I'm gonna go back over.
All right, brother. Oh man, we got all the big guns coming in. We also, CMON's running a little late, but they're going to be here very soon, just to let you guys know. The Dice Tower News Chopper. Now that's a stretch goal. There you go. Can you imagine that flying above Miami? Put Jason in it.
Yeah.
Rob is making fun of my lunch. Oh, wait, I was just saying somebody. Yeah, put Jason in the chopper with a 368 camera. There you go. That's a home run. Oh, somebody's having roast beef and a salami sandwich. Don't you think that's a little overkill? Salami and roast beef? Does that mix? Do you have to have a cheese in between that? Just wondering. Do you plan to see Renegade Games today? Or have I missed them already? I think they came yesterday. They were here yesterday. They did a great job. They had some great stuff. If you go and check out yesterday's feed, you'll see that they were here. They did a great job. Siri popped up again. Man, she's following me around. It's Siri. There you go. Hang Jason from the belly of the... Oh, God. Oh, we need a drone for conventions. Can you imagine that? The Dice Tower drone? And right now we're going to be over the entire area.
That's not what drones sound like.
Is that no?
Yeah, drones are those little helicopters.
Yeah, I know. But if you had visual, we have a confirmed sighting. Yeah, you got to have a camera on it. What are you going to fly the drone around if you don't have a camera on it for? I mean, really. Oh, Mike's coming with an announcement.
I have an announcement.
I have an announcement. I'm Mike.
That was as bad as Tom. Oh, wait, are you on camera?
Yeah, we're on camera.
Okay.
We're on camera.
Tom, yesterday Tom goes, okay, after, before the
CMON is supposed to be later today. No, they will be right after Mayfair. So probably around 2 o'clock if you're looking for them. The drone crashes into Pikachu butt. That's Gen Con. We spent the entire time looking at Pikachu's butt. Now we just look at a Pikachu. No, there's no Pikachus. I wish I could turn the camera on. Is that a Snurtle or whatever the heck it is? The giant Pokemon tournament going on over there. We got everything going on here. Jeez. And let me tell you something. I went to that North Market. Holy cow. Is there a lot of stuff at that place? They talk about that every year. This is my first year at Origins. I went to that North Market, I go, what could be in here? They have more food than people can eat. You could feed a small nation in there. It's amazing. I would back a Dice Tower Mars rover. So would I. What are you painting these, Rob? Well, I can tell you this, on Monday, and painting will be back on the Dice Tower. I am painting Dark Souls. From there, we will be going to Swords and Sorcery. From there, we will be going to Battle Stations. A lot of fun stuff that you're going to be able to see on the Dice Tower as I make my triumphant return to painting on the Dice Tower. It won't be live, we're going to tape it. We now have a 4K camera, so we can really show you some really good stuff. We upped the quality, we took a little break. A lot of you know my wife has been terribly sick, and I want to thank everybody for being so kind during this time, but she's finally back on her feet. There we go. Anything from Gale Force 9 today?
I don't think so.
We don't have anything from Gale Force 9 today. But if we ask the Master of Ceremonies, Mike, from Board Game Makeover, doesn't he do a good job? He's a good guy. All right, that's enough of me. Let's take you over to Mayflower.
Sure. It looks like it'll be a lot. We're good? Hello everybody and welcome back to our Origin Summer Preview 2017. I'm trying to be louder than that guy, and I think I'm doing a good job. So we're gonna keep on rolling. I've got Alex here from Mayfair Games. How you doing, Alex?
Very good, how are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm louder than that guy, and we're gonna be taking a look at this game here called Misfjord.
Misfjord, yes.
Misfjord.
So right now, the hope is this is going to be our Uwe Rosenberg game for Essen this year. So this is kind of a big preview. We're showing a little bit here. We'll be showing a little bit more at Gen Con, but we're really pretty excited about this one.
Excellent.
It's a little on the lighter side for kind of the Uwe game,
okay,
with having all of Uwe's signature worker placement sort of touches.
Okay.
And another little quirk, which we'll get to here a little later. But so this is kind of all the bits and pieces for the game. It's laid out. This is a single player's pieces, though. We have a mat for them, which is where you're going to be building your buildings and deforesting in order to build more and gain some wood as we go along.
Got it.
We have a little strip here, which is where we're going to keep the elders that we are currently helping us to get things done.
Got it.
And over here we have our little chart, which shows our fishing boats and how much fish we're going to be able to catch each turn.
Got it.
Over here I've got a little personal supply. We're going to keep some stuff. 3 resources in the game. We've got money, we've got wood, and we have fish. And that's pretty much
just
what we're doing on here. Yep.
That's like a kid's game from movie.
So we have our 3 workers here that we're going to be able to put out on a turn, and the game will last 7 rounds.
Okay.
So they'll have these little handy things that will tell us. So for example, this player is going first in the first round, and you can look around and see who's going to go first in each round as well, just to kind of make sure you've got a sense of what's going on.
Got it.
So the game itself flows pretty easily. The first thing that will happen on every round is you're going to get fish based on how many boats you have out right now. Based on the boats, we're getting 6 fish.
Okay.
So I would get 6 fish from the supply, and I say, all right, well, I have some things I have to do with it. So first off, I have to feed elders. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, all right, of my 6 fish, 1 of them goes on the elder here that I've hired. Next thing I'm going to do is if anybody in the game, this is our little private little quirk here, there are shares in this game, and so in order to get money, oftentimes you're going to have to issue shares in your fishing company. So if you have purchased a share of my company at some point, what will happen is I'm going to say, hey, I owe you a fish for your share. I'm going to put a share on my fish. Then the rest of these are going to go into my reserve up here. And then anything I have that's on shares, I get to claim and keep and use this round.
Okay.
So it's going to take an action for me to actually get them out of the reserve over here, or as I get other shares from other players, of course, if I had other people's shares, I would be getting their fish as well. This all happens simultaneously.
Okay.
So after that, then, it's pretty standard. I'm going to place workers. So I can pretty much run down this list here. Basic things are liquidize the reserve, grab my stuff out of there, bring it over here.
Okay.
I can deforest or reforest. So deforest simply means I get to remove one of these tiles,
Okay.
and I get wood for it.
Sure.
I can thin out, which means I would get 1 wood for every tile, and this is actually doubled.
Oh,
so
okay.
I could get
Got it.
1 wood for everything and not take anything off of there. Because when I take it off, I suddenly create some -1 spots that I'm going to have to fill with buildings.
to.
So I have to be careful about when I make my move on those trees.
Sure.
Or I can replant. If I've already deforested a bit, I can grab 2 forest tiles and put them back down and get some more wood going if need
Okay.
be. I can buy more boats. Boats cost some combination of wood, fish, or money.
Got it.
And of course, the bigger boats are worth more points and are also going to advance that track quicker in order to improve your fish harvest.
Got it.
More elders that I can hire, and buildings that I can build, again, using either money, fish, or wood in order to build them. We start the game with a group of A and B buildings that are out, and then basically at, I think it's round 4, we have a stack of C buildings that will actually go privately to people. But if you don't build them, at 6 they all go public and everyone can build what's left.
Interesting.
So
you got a little stab at
a
them
little
first.
mix of stuff, yeah. So it's really, so the stock market piece is really kind of the interesting kind of conceit of this game. This idea that really the best and easiest way to make money in this game is for you to just issue shares, which will simply go on the board, and then as an action, someone can come here and you buy all the shares that are there at 1 gold apiece and take them in, and now you're getting income from other people's boats as well as your own. There's only 5 shares, so it's not a huge stock market you're keeping track of, but it's just enough to be able to kind of be aware of, hey, I'm getting 6, but if I've issued 4 shares and they're out in other people's possessions, that's a lot of my catch that's going out to other players.
Right,
7 rounds runs, a couple of hours, kind of typical of that. A little shorter and probably a simpler set of things than a lot of the Uwe games that you typically would encounter, but still has a lot of interesting decisions. The stock market piece really kind of adds a nice twist to it. Really cool game. It should be out in about the Essen time frame. Right now, we have sort of our general working art. This is not the final cover, but it's the final piece that'll be on there.
Okay.
Everything else is starting to take shape a little bit. So
Number of players on this one?
2 to 4. 1 to 4.
players.
It's always got the solitaire option as well.
Sure. 1 to 4 players, couple of hours, a little lighter like you said, but a good amount going on, and lots of interesting sort of tactical choices I can already see at hand here. Very cool. Awesome. All right. So Essen, check this one out. Uwe's new hotness, of course.
Yes.
We're gonna scoop this out of the way.
This is going to be really, really heartbreaking for my OCD-ness, but I'm going to scrape all this stuff. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wipe. Whoop, there we go.
That's right.
Huh.
All right, I'm going to help you by cracking this open
All right.
here.
Everybody wants to crack that open. So.
And we're going to take a look at Caverna, the Cave versus Cave 2-player version. Is that correct?
Indeed, yes. So this is Caverna, mostly in theme, although there'll certainly be some things that will be familiar to people
Okay.
that have played the game before.
That's that right there.
These are our action tiles. We'll throw a few of these out on here. So there is a lot of things to like about this game from a game perspective.
Okay.
And probably a little later I'll talk about why I love this game so much from sort of a professional game editor position, because there's some really clever things in here that I think designers could learn some interesting lessons from. But for the time being, what we need to do is I would like to just find all the ones that have this kind of rock back and cover your board except for that spot with those.
Cool.
So just put them down randomly any old way you find.
Oh, this game's easy.
Yeah. And the first person to put them all down wins. Oh, I kid. I joke.
Oh.
I joke. I'm a joker.
There's another one over
All right.
there. And,
All right. And these rubble ones will simply go face up in the center over here.
All right. So I'm missing a couple
you've got
here,
most
but
of the
that's
board
okay.
there set up, so we can probably just work with those. But
That works.
anyway. So in this game, we are once again the ubiquitous dwarves, trying to build our ubiquitous rooms that look very nice and can score us points. At the end of the game, the winner will have the most victory points from their rooms, which are shown on our room tiles here, and also add up our gold. There are 6 resources in this game. All right, OCD is now complete. Done.
Good? Feel better?
So, 6 resources in the game. We have 2 building materials,
Okay.
which are wood and stone.
Okay.
And then 4 other basically food style materials. We have gold, which isn't really food, but you can use it to buy food, which is good. Flax, emmer, which is an ancient form of wheat.
Okay.
And food. So those are your 6 resources in the game, 2 building and 2 otherwise. We have some room, we have some walls as well. We have a start player tile, we'll just hand that over there to you.
Cool.
And our other stuff is gonna start on 1. Now you're limited by this track as far as how many resources you get. Max is 9, except for gold, which can wander up to 19.
Because you
You
flip.
can go to 19 by the end of the game.
Yep.
All right. In general, your pattern on the game is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
It's going to be take an action to either excavate, build something, or use the stuff you've built.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the game, you have 1 empty place where you can build something, and you have a room already furnished that you'll be able to get 1 free something if you trigger a room effect.
Okay.
These are potential rooms, and these basically show you how many victory points they're worth. They'll show you what they need to build, some combination of gold, wood, other building materials, wood, stone, or gold. This is a wall configuration. This is a required wall setup you need for the space in which you're going to put that room. So for example, right now we have this wall that goes all the way around the outside.
Okay.
I could not build this tunnel because I only have a wall here, and I need, by the diagram, a wall here and a wall opposite it.
Got it.
But I can build this one because I need a single wall, and I have a single wall in that orientation.
You can rotate
Now
these
I can
freely.
rotate it. Once I prove that I can build it,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I just build it in, and it can never be affected. I can even come back later and build a wall here. Doesn't matter once a room's up, a room's up.
Sure.
Right? So building a room is simply taking an action that lets me build a room. And in this case, the cost is going to be 1 food per dwarf. And that's simply defined by where we are in the game. So right now, while we're in these actions here, it's 2 dwarves. I'm a little off here somehow. Anyway.
There we go.
There we go. Where are my 3s?
Yeah.
There, 2, 2, 2. Oh, actually, it's
Am I looking at the wrong side?
solitaire side. Woohoo! All right.
Gotcha.
There we go.
All right, so 2s.
That looks a lot better to my delicate sensibilities. All right. Live television, kids, nothing like it. Anyway, so an excavation action simply, or a build action simply means 1 per dwarf, which right now that cost is 2.
Yes.
That cost will go up to 3 later and up to 4 on the last round of the game.
Got it.
So it's a sliding scale for that. Additionally, I'm going to need to make more rooms, which are excavate actions, our little pickaxe. So
Okay.
if I took this action and I would just slide it off to say, hey, I've taken this action, each of us right now, because there are 2 dwarves, get 2 actions each round. So I take an action, you take an action, I take an action, you take an action, move on to the next round.
Okay.
This one lets me either excavate for free. I can excavate any orthogonal room. So I could excavate this one. Oh, it gives me free food. That's a handy thing. And this is one of the clever bits of the game. This excavated tile now goes into the center and becomes a furnished room that either of us can now build.
Okay.
So the room furnishings come into play through the excavation of our caves. These are totally random at the beginning of the game, so you have no idea what order they come in, or if you don't even excavate all of your cave, whether or not they're going to appear at all.
Sure.
So that provides a tremendous amount of replayability and variability in the way that a game runs out, in addition to having these randomized within the action setups that you see there.
Right.
So those are kind of your core actions. So excavate, build, and then once you've done that, you can take, for example, this action says take 2 wood, which would just move you up your wood.
Okay.
And take 1 of your room actions.
Got it.
So you just look at your board and say, I'm going to take that one. The slash that's on here is kind of an either or. So many of these things will let you do multiple things. So for example, get 2 grain, get 2 emmer, get 1 flax, take a room action, and I can do those in any order. So if I was taking a room action that required emmer, for example, I could do this, then do that, then come back and do that.
Sure.
In any order like that. And that's pretty much the way the game works. Every round will add a new action to the pool.
Okay.
Eventually you'll start taking 3 actions instead of 2, and you continue until that reach that last action at the end of the game. Most points between buildings and your gold.
And a little reminder here that gold is...
At the end of the game, gold is 1 victory point per gold.
Mm-hmm.
That also has a special action at the end. That action is a kind of nice one. It gives you a couple of free things to do, but you can only take that action if you have the most money. So there's a little bit of pressure to kind of, if that really is attractive to you, to make sure your bank is higher than your opponent's when you get to that final round of the game.
Gotcha.
So this is a game that what's really brilliant, just take a minute and gush at it from an editorial standpoint. So many of the UVA games that you would play, imagine Agricola. If you're teaching Agricola, you got to teach everything that is visible on the table, which is a tremendous number of buildings and rooms and actions and things, as well as 14 cards that are in your hand that are different from the 14 in my hand, and trying to make it, and that's a lot of information you've got to give to a new player before they can begin.
Yes.
Caverna removes the cards, but it's still a table full of stuff that you've got to cover. This game reduces that teaching set down to the actions that are visible just at the beginning of the game, the 6 buildings that are just visible at the beginning of the game, and everything else is introduced incrementally, so you can start having explained everything that's on the table in a very short period of time, and simply introduce the couple of extra rules and the new actions as they arrive in the game.
Okay.
So it makes it very easy to teach, it makes it very smart in the way that the variability works, that you still have all the variability of having a huge pile of tiles, but because of the way they are revealed and the way that they come in, it all ramps up really nicely. So it's a really clever design for being able to include all of the types of paths and variability that you typically see in an UVA game in a much more compact mode in a 2-player game.
Yeah, interesting. How much does a game retail for?
$28, the same as all the other games in our Lookout 2-player line.
Right. Now I know this was quite hot here a little earlier today. I saw the line you had.
Yep, we had 47 copies that went out in 20 minutes.
If you are here, they are definitely gone. When are these going to be available to everyone that couldn't get one today?
The good news is they're on a boat right now, so we expect to have them in stores.
Is the boat heading this way?
Yeah, it is headed this way.
Good,
It's not headed out the other way. So
okay, good.
We should have them in stores in about 4 weeks or so.
4 weeks. You can get your hands on the Caverna 2-player version, Cave versus Cave. Awesome. Thanks for giving me a look at it.
My pleasure.
Very cool talking to you, Alex. And thanks everybody for tuning in. We're going to see you real soon.
Thanks.
All right.
Come on in, come on in. All right, how you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good to see you, good to see you. All right, so are we on? No, we're not. Not yet? Yes, we are? Hey. Well, thanks for coming over and showing us some stuff. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. So let's go to, let's hit this one first. Is the release date for Iron Dragon still June 30th?
6:30 is going to be a little slidey. We have a lot of that stuff at press right now, but I'm supposed to finish the rules here in the next few days, and Origins is not helping matters.
Yeah, really.
It's a lot of it is at press right now. So our boards, our cards, a lot of that stuff is in there and ready to go. So it's not going to be 6:30, but it's going to be well before Gen Con. If all goes well, knock on wood, please don't let me have jinxed that.
Now to clarify, finishing the rules, you're talking about like tidbits, editing, small
stuff.
I
have to throw in like the special thanks, the couple of illustrations we're still tweaking, so it's not like we're coming up with new rules. This is a reprint.
That's just what I wanted to say.
We're not rechanging everything, guys. This is Iron Dragon, you know the game. Obviously the cards have been rebalanced, but otherwise it's the same names. all of that stuff is going to look very familiar to people that have the original edition. So.
Okay. Now, talking about, I'm assuming this is talking about Cave versus Cave. How heavy is it compared to Caverna?
Yeah, it's a lot lighter. It's a 30 to 45 minute game.
Okay.
The engine, like I said, is more thematically linked to Caverna than the other one.
Okay.
It's, than the big game.
Right.
Yeah, it's lighter, but it's really designed to be lighter. It's really the Lookout 2 player line. If you think about the other things that are in there, we're not trying for that massive game. Like even Oh My Goods is a great example of it's a little game with a lot of gameplay in it. So on the Lookout side, we're aiming for something that's going to be at least aimed a little more towards broad market German market, maybe not broad market US necessarily. Okay. So. It's lighter than Caverna. It's certainly going to be shorter than Caverna, but I think it's an engaging game, and certainly for the people that are like the Patchwork crowd or even like the Trombone crowd, it's going to fit that niche pretty well.
That's a good grouping. Okay, a lot of people are asking about an expansion for Colonists. Is that in the works? Is that in the pipe?
That is absolutely being worked on right now.
Okay.
And there's evidence of that, of course, on Board Game Geek, because you've got a couple of interviews about whether you really want zombies mixed up in your Colonists. I voted no, please. I voted no. Vote. Tell your friends. Vote twice. Do anything you can. I don't need. I've been avoiding them for 20 years, and here we are. Says the guy who works for Twilight Creations right now. So anyway, but having said that, the idea right now. And of course, all of this is subject to change, but it looks like right now we'll probably be adding 2 more eras. It's going to add some other elements. So like I said, some of the scenarios are going to introduce some elements that can kind of be worked in there, but for the people that want a little player conflict, you're going to see possibly that involved in the expansion, at least available, if not a mandatory thing. Okay. There's going to be some more traveling, so sort of island sea travel land kind of stuff may appear in that, but at its core, 2 more eras and the requisite buildings to make those 2 eras interesting.
Okay, I had a question here that's very specific about Origins. Is there are a limited amount of copies per day, kind of like what people do at Gen Con, or are you guys just totally out?
We air flew them in on the Glass Road, and Cave vs. Cave in particular was basically what we got in, we put out, and they're gone. Yeah. So Glass Road we still have a few copies of. I think we're under 20 though. But on Cave vs. Cave we had 47 copies and we sold 47.
Gotcha. So. Okay, cool. Any plans on remaking any of the crayon rail type games?
Iron Dragon is really going to be the deciding factor here. I mean, right now we really hope that Iron Dragon is going to get out. I mean, it's the prettiest certainly of any of the games right now by far. I think a lot of people have a very fond spot towards the fantasy side of the crayon rail thing. Yeah. So we really want to see how this one does. If this one does really well, obviously we'd like to go back. It's an important part of our history, let alone our line. Mm-hmm. And and the sky's the limit on that. We have an anniversary coming up. We don't really have anything planned necessarily for that, other than acknowledging the fact that it exists. It would be nice to kind of maybe do that. We've done a little bit of freshening on the line. Is it time to maybe get in there and rewire some stuff? Okay. It's all of those things are on the table. We really though want to make sure that people understand that A, we're committed to the crayon rails in general, and B, let's make Iron Dragon a success. Let's get that done, and then we'll go on.
Then we'll see what we can go after that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. What are the age groups for Cave vs. Cave?
I think on the box we say 8 and up. Let me dive under the table here.
Okay, go ahead. So he's diving.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
2 players. We're saying 12 and up. It feels a little aggressive to me.
Okay.
I think you've seen what's in there, and I would be surprised if a typical 10-year-old would be able to handle that without too much difficulty.
Okay.
So.
All right, that's cool. All right, now is Barron Park here?
Barron Park is here in reasonably large quantities. I don't know if it'll hold out all 4 days, but definitely, we've got our full shipment in. It's winging its way to stores right now, although I think what we got in our first shipment is pretty much out the door, so we have another one already on its way. Yeah. But definitely, it didn't surprise us how well it was going to do, but it always kind of, there's a big breath that, right. We sold out on Amazon, stores are getting them now, the reorders are looking good. So it should be readily available pretty widely, as well as here and stores as we move forward here.
Well, we do have one person saying that Colonist expansion equals this is your life now.
You know, what's so amazing about the Colonists is that, you know, there was several years of playing that game, and of course I've had the experience of playing it in the 8 era version.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, we want to see what 14 hours the Colonists look like, and there are some people out there right now that are going, "Oh my God, that sounds great," and some people are going, "I can't. I'm mad. I would slit my wrists."
People call me crazy for 6 hours of TI3, so I don't want to hear it anymore, people.
Yeah. Suck it up. But yeah, no. You know, so it's so much fun to play full games of that.
Yeah.
And it's something I don't get to play. I haven't gotten to play very much of. I have played a lot of Era 1 in teaching the game, obviously, since it's been out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually going to be getting together with some friends down in Charlottesville in a couple of weeks, and we're going to get out. We're going to play all 4 eras enthusiastically.
Man.
You know, for the people that love that game, and there's a lot to love about that game. Yeah, I mean, the scenarios are going to be are going to be amazing for people that want to add these really interesting goals, you know, new goals in the game. The expansion is going to give you that way of really just making it the true all-day experience.
Okay.
It should be a lot of fun.
There you go. All right, got one more question, and that is, for Cave versus Cave, are there additional cards that you don't use that will promote the replayability of it?
No, and it's something I really want to kind of drive home on this. The replayability of the game really comes from the use of the 18 room tiles that you randomize on the thing.
All right.
The fact that you don't know where they are, you don't know when they're going to appear, and in what order they're going to appear, and if the actions that arrive are going to support them. So, for example, a lot of the buildings have wall requirements that you're just not going to be able to do until you can build walls, which is possibly round 1, round 2, or round 3.
Okay.
So the package is really designed to be very tight and very focused on that, and gives you a lot of replayability without adding components. And that's and like I said, I think it's a game that when I take off my promotion hat and I put on my editing hat, I really want designers to kind of look at this as a really cool, modern, current example of how you can add a tremendous amount of replayability with a smaller component set than people are just say, well, I'm just going to give you 60 tiles and draw 10 of them kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, though, some very clever, sharp eyes will note on the cover of Cave vs. Cave, on the first page of the rule book, it says Era 1.
Easter egg. Hint much?
So.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
My
we
pleasure.
certainly appreciate it. And thank you guys for your questions. We're going to send it back over to Mark and Sean from CMON.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Origins 2017 Summer Preview with the Dice Tower. I'm Mark Streed, and I'm here with Sean from CMON. Show us what you got.
Okay, so this is Banana Bandits, and as you can see, just visually, it's a very cool board.
It's so cool.
This has been a really interesting hit for us of the convention because people see it and it instantly draws them in from across the hall.
Right.
So the idea of this game is that the head gorilla in a crime organization has retired, and his top lieutenants are vying to take over control of the organization. So on your turn, you're going to spend action points to move around the building. So as the gorillas, you can see, they're like hooked into these windows and they can move. So each movement, they can move 1, 2, 3 spaces. That costs you an action point. They can draw cards, so they're going to have a hand of power cards, and as they spend them throughout the game, they can come down to like the lowest window in the building and draw back up to 5 power cards in their hand. That costs them an action point, and they can hit each other. So
that's where the dice come in?
Yes, this is where the dice come in. So if I've got 2 gorillas next to each other here, and one of them is going to hit the other one, they're going to roll the attack dice and see how many successes they get, and then the defender will roll and see how many successes they get. And if it's a successful hit, they will knock the gorilla 3 window spaces, and when that gorilla goes, he will leave behind coins in each of the windows.
To grab?
Yeah, he will leave these coins behind, and then throughout the course of the game, different windows will acquire different amounts of coins. And you can go to that window and for an action point, you can collect those. And the reason you're collecting these coins is 2 coins of another gorilla's color, 2 different gorilla's colors, allow you to come around to certain places in the building and cash them in to get you a banana coin, which of course the gorilla is going to love.
Yeah, of course.
And the first gorilla to get 3 of these banana coins is going to win the game. They're going to be the next leader of the organization.
Nice.
So,
and what kind of card? What do the cards do?
So the cards might add to your attack. They might like add die to your attack. So we've got some extra die that show up there.
Over here.
So that could be added to defense or anything like that. You can get extra actions.
Nice.
You can draw more cards, that sort of thing. So just throughout the course of the game, they're going to like help you with your attacks with all of those different sorts of things.
Nice.
So I have to mention this was named by Jane Goodall as the must-play game of Origins 2017.
Well,
so like we
why
were
not?
very, very pleased with that honor for sure. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And is this available now?
This one will be July 28th.
Oh, July.
So
okay.
yeah, we have some
right
here at the exactly. We have some here at Origins, but it'll be certainly in wide release July 28th and available during Gen Con for sure.
Great.
So yeah, super fast, fun game, easy to learn, and highly replayable.
Great.
So, yeah.
What else did you bring?
Ooh, I've got another pretty fun one here. So let me get rid of this building. So I've also brought you.
Oh yes.
Yes.
We played this extensively.
Yeah.
At CMON Expo.
Yeah, you've seen this one before.
Yep,
so this is Sherlock.
Yes.
And in this game, you are a detective, and you have come across a crime scene, and you've taken a crime scene photo. And then when you walked away to have a discussion with another detective, as you would,
right?
Some rookie beat cop has come and messed with your scene. So you've got your photograph, and then you've got the scene as it is, and you have to look at it, and you have to identify what has changed between them. And we've got these evidence markers that go out around the scene, and it is going to be kind of a visual race. So you'll look at the 2 different scenes, and then as soon as you think you know how many differences there are between the 2 pictures, you're going to grab the evidence marker that matches that number. When there's only one person left who hasn't grabbed one of the evidence markers, they only have 3 seconds, and they have to grab something, and then we see how close we did. So we reveal the 2 pictures,
and, you get
and we count up. Nice. Yeah, we count up the differences between them. And then we get tokens, like award tokens, for how close you were. So if you're right on, you'll get 3 points for that. If you were the closest lower number, then you'll get 2 points. And if you're the closest highest number, you'll get just 1 point.
Right.
And then you play over the course of 10 different rounds, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. So super simple idea, but this one we find is it's a great one to play with a crowd of people because you can all be standing around. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was amazed at how fast and how much fun that game. How really and everybody's grabbing numbers. It was so pulled you into the game really easily.
For sure. And I mean, it's one of those games where it's like it does not take long for people to very quickly pick up the concept, and you'll be playing in no time. The funnest part of it is that these tiles work as scoring tiles. They work as kind of a timer for the game because when this pile's done, it's over. But they also tell you how to align the pictures. And so sometimes they'll get a line like this one's telling us to align these just slightly askew. Like that. Which that's not so hard.
No, not that one.
But as you go deeper and deeper, like this one, all of a sudden we're looking at these guys upside down like this, and that's really going to mess with the way your brain interprets the information.
Absolutely.
So you're really going to have to use your detective skills to see what the differences are between the 2 pictures.
Yeah, and how many different cards are there?
40, I believe.
40.
Yeah.
And do you have any idea how many different changes there are between them?
There is for each card in the deck, it is different than every other one. So there's a maximum of 10 differences between any number. but it depends on which ones
With the
come together at which
yeah.
time. Yeah, exactly.
Well, great. Well, that's fantastic. Thanks for bringing them by.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no
it.
problem. Yeah.
All right, folks, stay tuned for more. Yeah, this is really fun.
Yeah.
All right, we are here with Sean from CMON, and I've got a whole page of questions for you, and they keep coming. So we're probably not going to be able to get to everything, just because we do have a time crunch to keep. Actually, I don't know. We don't see that anybody's set up. So let's just get to it. Let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, will Ethnos be available soon in Europe?
Yes, it should be. For exact dates, send us in a message. We'll be releasing that information.
Okay, so general question is yes, but more information later. All right, is there an expansion in the pipe for Ethnos? It's just crazy. The game just got released,
I know,
people.
But people want more.
But
I mean, it is a game that definitely could, but there is no talks or plans for that at this exact moment.
At this moment in time.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so any news about the next Arcadia Quest? Is there a next Arcadia Quest?
I mean, could you imagine there never being another Arcadia? There will be a next Arcadia Quest, but I have no information to impart at this time.
Okay, so a little bit more of a prod there. Are there going to be more pet packs coming out for Arcadia Quest pets?
Again, not that we have to announce right now.
Okay.
There may be some in the future, but none that we have to announce right now.
Okay, cool. Is there plans for Zombicide in space or in the future?
This is actually a question we get way more often than you would expect. Zombicide in space, like future Zombicide.
Yeah. And it's Xenocide is what I've what they're talking about in here.
I dig it. With you could have some little xenomorph zombies.
Right.
Ah, that's pretty good. Oh, now the wheels are turning.
Now we've got something.
The wheels are turning. I hear that a lot, and I mean, certainly there's interest in that. We don't have that in the works right now. Right now, we're focusing on the Zombicide Green Horde Kickstarter, which is going great. It's going till the 28th this year. That's our main focus right now. We're still kind of exploring the sort of medieval fantasy world of Zombicide, which is something that still has like tons of avenues to explore.
Right.
I would never rule anything out, but I would say Xenocide is something that will be in the future.
Okay, well, that actually touched on one of the other questions. After Green Horde, will Black Plague be getting more?
Will Black Plague be getting
more expansions? More?
I mean, nothing that we're announcing at this time right now. Like, I mean, will there be a Orange Tide or a a different expansion to Black Plague? I mean, those worlds are like full of possibilities, and I think that we'll always look to explore, deeper in those areas. As far as like the next step, again, like we're focusing on the current Kickstarter, and I think anything that's coming down the pipe we'll announce kind of like when it's time to announce it. Yeah, but we don't have announcements that we can give
As
right now.
Garth used to say, live in the now.
Live in.
There you go. So,
sage advice.
Now, since this is kind of more of a now question, because I think there's enough for Blood Rage. We don't need more. But they're asking, are there any more plans for Blood Rage? Redesigns on some of the exclusives, or reprinting some of the exclusives that some people weren't able to get a hold of, that type of stuff.
Right. So at this time, I don't believe so. I think Blood Rage, obviously it's going to continue how it is right now. Whether or not we do like reprints of exclusives, I would say that is unlikely.
Okay.
Anything's possible, but I think that more so we're looking at like newer titles.
I'm gonna take this off.
Yeah.
So it was rubbing against my mic. I don't want to mess your guys' ear up. All right. Song of Ice and Fire Kickstarter launch date. Do you have that nailed down yet? Or is it? I'm pretty sure it is coming to Kickstarter, but
it will be coming to Kickstarter in 2017. But more than that, I cannot give more information than that. Exactly.
All right. So that's good. You're still working on it. I know that. I know Michael is.
Michael and Eric
is working hard with it.
Yes, they are. They're working hard. But you know what? Like that game is like accessible and enjoyable, so I would say they're working on it, but I mean it doesn't feel like hard work. Like I've seen them talk about it, and I think they're having a lot of fun with it.
Well, yeah, when you're doing what you love, it's not work. Yeah. All right, Council of 4th Street date and MSRP.
It'll be in I believe Q3. MSRP, I don't have that at this time. It'll be in the probably 50-ish, 60-ish range.
That sounds about right.
But I don't have an exact number yet.
Okay. Any news on Modern Art?
Yes. So Modern Art is going to be released on July 28th.
Okay.
It'll be available before Gen Con, but widely available certainly at Gen Con. Super happy about the game. Like it's beautiful. You can watch your excellent Dice Hour video from CMON Expo.
Right.
So yeah, like we feel really good about it. The thing about Modern Art is that it is like one of the more influential games like of all time, and like so influential in the as an auction game.
Yeah.
So it's one that like everybody certainly should try out, and like with the updates, like I mean, we've done very little to change the mechanics of the game, but like just updated it with like beautiful new art, like great components, like a sweet board to mark the artist's progression, thick chunky money, and that gavel, which is surpringly satisfying bang at the end of
it is. Yeah, one of the things I liked about your guys' version of Modern Art was the fact that you're using real artists and real works of art and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. The original one was just kind of a campy fake artwork, and I didn't really like that.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like, so it's 5 different real artists, which is amazing, and what's great about it too is like the rule book itself is an art book. So I mean the rules are a couple of pages long, and then after that it's several pages of original works by these different artists and like biographies of these artists. So like you can kind of, I mean, one of the fun things about Modern Art is when you're selling a picture, you really want to sell it. So you want to talk about the highlights and how great it'll look on the wall, and when you have a little bit of information on that artist bio, you can add that, like talk about the pain that they've been through, like would produce such a beautiful work of art. And so like just little touches like that make you like a little more invested in the games you're playing.
All right, just a couple more questions. Sherlock MSRP.
I don't have that right now. It'll probably be in the 20 to 30.
2030s. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. And then how's production on Rising Sun going? And from where will it be shipped? They were just talking about their American backers and wondering when it was going to get here and that type of thing.
Right. So the most up-to-date, they're working hard on production of Rising Sun. We're still at this time taking late pledges. So if people were still interested in doing a pledge for Rising Sun, we're still taking late pledges. Yeah. So it'll be like the latest up-to-date information is on the Kickstarter, all of the updates that are there, and they will update it as frequently as they possibly can with relevant information. So that is the best place to get information on the latest on Rising Sun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for stopping by.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for all you guys do.
Very welcome. Thank you guys for your questions. We're gonna send it back over to Mark for our next interview. We'll see you over there.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Origins Summer Preview 2017. And we are with the Dice Tower on Mark Street, and today I'm here with Isaias from Daily Magic Games. Yeah. So show us what you brought.
So I've brought Merchants of Araby here.
Okay.
And I guess to start off, the design conceit was the designer J Treat wanted to do kind of a Magic the Gathering with shared resources and more of a board game type of stuff.
Okay.
So we took that, we ran with it, and what we created here is you're a merchant in this world of Araby, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to fill up these caravans with your camels.
Okay.
So each player is going to get one merchant that creates one kind of resource. So all of the caravan cards have variable resources.
Okay.
So that's kind of the crux of the game is in order to score, you actually need to fill a row or a column with camels. So in order to do that, you need to negotiate with the other players. So this is definitely a negotiation game. Anything goes. There's been some crazy no chores type of negotiations or there's insurance bets, there's side bets, because what happens is what's one of these caravans say is fool, right? At the start of someone's turn or at the end of someone's turn, they'll draft 2 cards.
Okay.
And then at the start of someone's turn, this will refill, and what ends up happening is that this top card then becomes a payout card. So that's the way the payouts are shuffled.
Oh, I see.
And now this top row is going to pay out at 3, then the next one 4 and 5.
Okay.
And there's also a chance on each one of these cards, there's a bandit number. So if the bandit hits you, your camel is taken out and you don't get anything for that.
Oh, good.
And of course, there's a bunch of cards in here that control the bandits, that control the camels.
That's what I was going to ask.
So yeah, the basic cards are the merchants that just create resources. The other ones are the allies that really get you that engine feeling of I'm going to do this, to do this, to do this. So it gets really interesting in the different combinations you can find. Then you have instants, which are the genies, and then you have virtues, which give you different kinds of special powers throughout the game. So yeah, it comes with all of this stuff, a bunch of silver coins, gold coins, and the gems here are 10 points.
Okay.
So money is points in this game.
Okay, great.
So that's why we have these
blinds,
little tents, the blinds.
I love it.
Yeah, because you're not going to want to negotiate with someone if you think that they're winning, right? So you keep everything, keep everything hidden. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So you go through 4 seasons of the caravans, or 4 rounds essentially. Then you count up your points.
Cool. All right. And is it out now?
Yeah, so we're releasing it today at Origins.
Okay.
So you can buy it at Origins now. It will be at retail July 20th.
Okay.
So MSRP is at $40.
Okay.
So you get a lot of stuff for $40.
Right. And how many does it play?
Up to 5 now.
Up to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So up to 5.
And what's the game length?
It's about an hour.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
First time around, definitely a lot of things happening, different combos that you need to get used to, but after a while you can get it down to about 45.
And the board is the box lid?
Yeah, so that is the coolest part. We can make a mess here.
Yeah,
right?
let's do it.
Yeah, so just toss that down.
Okay.
So if you put that here, right?
Yeah.
You can, actually it's the other way.
Other way?
There you go. So you close that up.
Nice.
So everything will fit in there. And then we included these foam pieces,
Okay.
and you put that on top, and that creates the friction so it actually doesn't slip out.
Doesn't slip out.
Yeah, because if
Right.
I did it right now, of course it's gonna slip out. But
Yeah, it's cool.
yeah, so we've got the board is the cover.
Okay.
And then we have a really cool insert that fits all of the camels and the
Mm-hmm.
coins there perfectly.
Very cool. Great. Well, what else did you bring to show us?
Let's
slide this over.
Slide it down. Just making a mess.
It's all about making a mess.
Some shameless plugs for games that will come out.
Will come out soon.
Yeah. September, December is that. Okay. All right, ready?
Yep,
yeah, this is Kitten Clash.
Okay.
And this is a very fast game. We could
Okay.
even play it in 30 seconds if you
Okay.
want. This is the entire rules. It's one card. And essentially what we're doing is we each get a deck of cards.
Okay.
So you're going to be the pirates and I'm the ninjas, right?
Okay.
We're going to shuffle our cards.
Okay.
And
I
then,
see. So they're all pirates.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
They're all different colors. And what we're going to do is just one at a time, we're going to play 1, 2, 3, and just keep doing that. Whenever
Okay.
you see color matches,
Uh-huh.
then you can take those.
Oh,
so
I
it's
see.
pairs. So here I can take, orthogonally I can take that.
Oh, I see. Cool.
If you had an orange up here, then I could take yours.
Oh, neat.
So what's happening is at the end of, once we've played our cards, I'm going to get 2 points for every one of your cards I've captured and
Okay.
1 point for every one of my cards. So it's very quick, very simple game.
Yeah, definitely.
People have compared it to like Nerds or Dutch Solitaire,
That's
right?
what it seems like, yeah.
Yep. And this was designed by Alice Davis and Matt Jacobs, and Alice really kind of wanted to design this for her son. So it's a great, kids game. But we did have a tournament with college kids last weekend.
Oh, really? How did that go?
That got rowdy, yeah.
That's
They get very
awesome.
aggressive
I
and
bet so.
hyper competitive, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
neat.
yeah, it's a fun little game.
Yeah, how is it 2-player?
It's a 2-player game.
Okay.
You can add in more decks, and you can actually just play.
Oh, neat.
Like we did
Multi-
tournaments,
yeah.
And what happens is, you can take your neighbor's stuff too. So as soon as you see a pair come up, you're essentially just capturing the stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Isaiah, thanks for joining us
thank
today.
you, Mark.
Appreciate it. All right, folks, stay tuned for more coverage.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Q&A table. Isaiah is coming here. Hey, have a seat. Thanks for joining us here. So that's Merchants of Araby.
Araby.
Okay, very good. We have a few questions here and some more are popping up here, so we'll come back after we're done with these. What's the latest news first off for Valeria Card Kingdom's expansion?
It's not a Merchants of Araby question. But,
well, we'll get to that.
The expansion for Flames and Frost, we actually get the advanced copy today. It's being mailed to the hotel, so I'll take a look at it and I'll be able to approve it today or tomorrow with David.
Okay.
So everything is on track. It took us a little bit longer than usual because of the different languages.
Gotcha.
It was like 15 different SKUs that we had to deal with in
Wow.
4 different languages. So it was a bit of a monster, but we did.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. All right, are there any more plans for anything else in the Valeria universe?
Yeah, for sure. Right now we're working on 2 different games. One is called Corsairs, and so it's actually a dice game.
Okay.
So I don't know. Think about I don't know. It's a dice game that you're moving around ships in islands essentially, and then you're collecting gold and stuff like that.
It's called Corsairs.
Corsairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then the other one is Knights of Valeria, which is still I'm working with that with Rick Holzgraf,
Okay.
who did Villages of Valeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, now about Merchants of Araby.
Yeah.
How much can players affect the robber and have the resources go to the bank and other players? Is there? It was mentioned in the kind of the vein of they're afraid that that's going to be an overpowering type thing.
Right. Yeah. It's the way that the cards are set up, the robbers will hit more often on the lower ones.
Okay.
But the payouts are bigger. Okay. So it's kind of a risk-reward thing.
Okay.
And there's a lot of mitigation with cards that you can play to move the robber around. So it's not like a huge hit. It's not a huge swing.
Okay.
You're talking about maybe 2 or 3 silver that you're going to lose.
Okay.
But it is there to kind of incentivize you to pick different rows or different columns to go into.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get, there's been a little bit of a discussion about this guy.
Right.
This guy has caused some discord in our chat room. So some people are saying this is great. This is, and I'm one of those people.
Like it, yeah.
I'm one of those people. And some of them are worried about because when you have a board that's inside the box, and the box gets messed up in shipping, the board's still okay, just the box got messed up. What are you going to do to make sure that, well, not make sure because there's nothing you can really do about it as far as guaranteeing. So what
can be done about that?
Yes. Yeah. What is your thoughts on that, I guess?
As far as shipping goes, when we shipped it, we actually put corner protectors on it.
You do? Okay.
So yeah, it was very secure that way. I don't know if you order from a different online retailer, how they're going to do it, but as far as the board goes, it's not really going to get damaged because the board is on the inside.
Gotcha.
Right, so I don't think it'll be as bad as people think.
Okay.
And that's not what we have seen so far.
All right, it hasn't been your experience.
Correct, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, that's awesome. Now, what about Clash? Clash a release and MSRP for that?
Yeah. So this one is just $10. We just have it at Origins right now.
Okay.
And we're in discussions right now with PSI on whether we'll take it to distribution.
Okay.
So this is just, we made it. We didn't do a Kickstarter or anything. We just really liked the game and wanted to bring it to production. So we have it now, and now we have to get the copies in and then talk to PSI about it.
Well, kudos on that. You don't always have to do a Kickstarter.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I mean, this is board gaming industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And we hope to do more of that in the future. It's just, Kickstarter is great for marketing. It's great for mitigating the risk and the production cost that goes into this. And it's really helped catapult us in the last 2 years to being able to do 1 game all the way up to 6 or 7 games per year. So we really like Kickstarter and appreciate all the backers.
Yeah, that's great. Let me just check real quick. Okay, that was the last one that I was able to look down, and let's see. Okay. In Daily Magic Games defense, Mr. Thompson, or Miss Thompson, I don't know if you're a boy or a girl, I apologize, says, I've never gotten a game that was more securely packaged. I was amazed.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, and we're really good at, I think, customer service. Like, we have had some snafus in the past.
Right.
With Valeria Card Kingdoms, there was like a small percentage that had card curl, and what we did is just reprinted all the cards, and whenever people requested them, we just sent them a full block of cards at our expense.
Wow.
So we're trying the best we can to be customer focused.
That's super.
And make sure that everybody's getting the best quality that they can get.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. Thank you so much for dropping by, Isaiah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for your questions. We're going to send it back over to Mark here in just a few moments, so hang on.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Origins Summer Preview 2017 with the Dice Tower. I'm Mark, and I'm here with Mike from Flatworks Gaming. So show us what you brought today.
Sure, this is a Dwarven Smithy. This is a 2 to 4 player unique crafting card game.
Okay.
Players are going to get a player card, and what they do is they work around the player card. They get resources. They got 12 different resources and 3 resource types. We have 4 types of guild cards.
Okay.
You have weapon, armor, and shield that are in there. There's some tankers. There's some nails too. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to craft these items in the attempt to get gold, and the player with the most gold at the end of the game wins.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So tell us about the different equipment and stuff that's in here.
All right, so what we do is we have our cards here. We have item cards, we have tools, we have apprentices, and you also have things called King's items. And the King's items are very hard, and I probably don't have any right here, right at the top. There we go.
There you go.
So the King's items, all these different cards.
Oh yeah, nice.
You have the apprentices, they change the rules of the game.
Okay.
You have tools, they actually allow you to craft things easier. You have items, and here we have thieves' tools. You have just common items, but you also have the weapon, armor, and shields.
Okay.
And lastly, you have King's items. Those are the big ticket items. Those are the weapon, armor, and shields that you need the most expensive resources, the rarest resources to get. They're the hardest to get. You craft all this stuff face up, but the King's item is always crafted face down. All right, so at the end of the game, that's when it's revealed. And of course, the Dwarven King, he will give you he'll give you an extra 25 gold if you made the most expensive.
Oh, nice.
And you can get gold this way, or you can actually sell your resources.
Okay.
And what we do, I'll take these off.
Yep.
And we have 3 resource types.
Okay.
So you have rune stones, you have gems, and you have metals.
Okay. Great.
And the only difference is that these cards have to be refined at the beginning of your turn.
Okay.
And once they're refined, that's when you can actually use them to craft your guild cards.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so and is this on Kickstarter now?
It's on Kickstarter right now.
Okay.
And the other thing I just want to mention too is that on this player card, and this is the time is one of those things where in the game it's a mechanic.
Oh, great.
So you have to refine your resources before you can use them. You can also, when you're crafting an item or you're hiring an apprentice, you actually have to wait a turn until that is completed. And you have to manage, you can only have 6 cards in your hand, and you're working around this player card. You can only have 6 in your workshop, 4 or 7 in your workshop, 4 in your market, 2 completed tools, and 2 completed apprentices. So you have this limit that you're trying to work around.
Right.
It's a little bit of a puzzle. It's a little bit of planning ahead. And of course, you can buy cards from other players. You can buy resources from the warehouse. And there's no way to discard out of the game.
Okay.
So you have to move the cards into your market, give everybody a chance to buy them before you can actually discard them.
Well, great.
Yeah.
So tell us, when does your Kickstarter end or started?
It actually ends on the 22nd, 10 p.m. Okay. And we're trying to get the word out, let everybody know. It's a great game. We've had it out for 2 years.
Yeah,
and
nice.
It's been thoroughly tested, and people love it.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. All right, folks, stay tuned for more coverage.
shelf. I'm like, all right, I gotta get this stuff. Nobody else has done it. I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. Yeah, it's neat. It's good stuff, man. I bet that was a unique experience. It was just neat, like that the game was so different from the usual thing we look at.
Thank you.
It's like from the. It was not from a regular publisher, you know. It wasn't like with the same intentions as the old game. It was neat. It was different. So.
We did. Museum did try to.
Oh, I know, right. That's cool. We're hearing something, yeah. We hear something.
Good timing. You're going to go ahead and set it.
It is. It doesn't really need to be this big. The convention gets us this space because we really want it for that. Yeah. All right, good to see you. Yeah. Swing by on Sunday. We'll be around. Yeah, probably. Hopefully, man. I've barely been able to play. We're doing just this stuff, you know? Gotta get some games played. Doing work.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Origins Summer Preview 2017 with the Dice Tower. I'm Mark and I'm here with Ian from Griggling Games. So tell us what you brought us today.
Hey everyone, I have brought 2nd edition Destination Neptune.
Okay.
Destination Neptune came out in 2014 with okay but not stellar reviews, and I'm going to be the first to admit it, and I'm going to tell you right now up front that I designed the game, I liked the game, but I don't love the game, and I had a real hard time getting it to the table. Well, anyhow, I'm still working on another game, and I had this great idea for a mechanic, and I said, this is what would make Destination Neptune the game it should have been from the get-go.
So what is that?
Okay, well, so the 2nd edition is going to have a few new things. First of all, the cards, the 2nd edition comes with a brand new set of cards. It's 108 cards. And they're all the same sort of types of cards as before, except for they have different types of things they do, similar but not identical.
Okay.
The key sort of mechanic in gameplay is that you can either play cards or draw cards. So games like that, say Ticket to Ride or something like that, the tension is that you want to really play as infrequently as possible because your cards are your resources.
Right.
But because it's a race game, and these locations are exclusive to one player, if you sit too many turns building up your resources, somebody's going to grab all these things from under you.
Okay.
And speaking of that, so if you're familiar with the 1st edition, you'll know that the locations were not exclusive. That's a big change, and what it means is that the race aspect is much deeper and much stronger there. The other thing is that when you play cards, you can play more than one card. So if one of the things you didn't like about 1st edition was that other people could take advantage of your card play, like developing a technology or doing research, you get first shot, and a lot of people didn't really like that. I felt like it accurately portrayed big business and negotiations, and I think that people didn't like to have an accurate portrayal of work in the game table.
Right.
So, so what's going to happen is that you'll start with a hand of 5 cards plus 2 scoring cards. The scoring cards are color-coded because they're a little bit special. First of all, you'll only get 2 in the game there, and that people will want to keep track of when they're used so they know who's used them. And they'll also, obviously, and when you play a scoring card, everybody scores, so you want to play them after you've had a great turn and you'll get the most victory points.
Right.
The other cards are technology. There's this is going to allow you to develop one of these technologies here, or research missions, which will allow you to put one of your buttons on the research mission here.
All right.
You've got factories produced. That's how you're going to get more income, or one of the main ways.
Yeah.
Attract investors. That's before you're actually getting income, getting other people to invest in your dream.
Okay.
Build to build bases, factories, colonies, and fuel broker, which allows you to get fuel at a low cost, and also to get an extra rocket. This is from the original game. You'll have, these are your credits at your money. trying to do is figure out if everybody else agrees that the improvement is so great that I believe it is, so then we can get, you know, a more healthy print run and get it into your friendly local game store, which is where I prefer you buy my games.
Yeah.
Because that's friendly local game stores sell my games 365 days a year, minus Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Great.
So,
and so it's available now, though.
Yes, if you're at Origins today, it is the release date of the second edition is today.
Okay.
It'll be here at Origins, at Gen Con, at World Board Gaming Championship. I'm going to DexCon, and I will put them online on my website. And again, depending on the pickup, we're going to see if we can get a real commercial run and make this the game that I really believe that it should be. My father was one of the team that designed the gyroscopes on the Saturn V rockets. So it's not like he wasn't a gamer. So he could and he's dead long time. So he doesn't care. But like I felt like for me, like not having an awesome space game, like going to Florida and watching things happen and knowing he was part of it, like to me it's like, I don't know, it was just, I needed it to happen. So so many of the game world is kind of like people who are passionate about what they're doing.
Absolutely.
This is probably, of all my projects, I have done it really with zero anticipation.
Nice.
And I'm just hoping that people who, especially people who bought first edition, and were like, well, it's okay, but you know, it's like, try this and then come back to me and say, okay, don't you want to play that over and over again?
Great. So what else did you bring for us?
Okay, I brought a game I'm working on for another company called the Plastic Soldier Company. Plastic Soldier Company released 2 of my titles last year, Victory or Death and Quartermaster General 1914. Quartermaster General is my most popular game, and so both of them are based on that same system. This is not a Quartermaster General game. This is going to be more of a heavy war game. What you're not seeing is the 360 cards that will represent all of the units and tactics that fought on the West Front for the 10 months following D-Day. My dad was also a World War II vet, so, you know, whatever. I guess there's a recurring hero worship theme. Essentially, this is going to be a little bit more like your traditional war game, and but with very few counters, because the counters represent higher echelon units like corps and armies, and the divisions and brigades and whatnot are all in the cards. So the complexity here is not in the rules. While the rules are kind of long because there's little exceptions and whatnot, not too bad. If you play war games, you'll think it's a very easy war game. But for most gamers, it would be slightly challenging. The complexity is because the cards, unlike most war games where you have a very few number of things that you can manipulate, you know, attack, factor, defense, but there's only so much you can fit on a counter, and there's no place for text. These cards, which I apologize for not printing out, but we really just finished the prototypes the other day, allow me to have special abilities for individual cards, like a card game. And so when you do a battle, you move a couple pieces around, and then you're going to play a card game, and there are dice, unlike my other games, and it's really exciting because you really don't know what's, you know, you're attacking someone, and was it a bunch of like reserve divisions or dummies, or all of a sudden is it like, oh, we landed in Arnhem and there's a Panzer division there.
So is this, you going to Kickstarter?
This is going to be going to be released by Plastic Soldier Company. For myself, it will be on Kickstarter later this year. I'm hoping it will be out for Essen, but I cannot guarantee that. The timing's tight at this point. And I'm not the one who runs the Kickstarter, so I really can't promise. But
so we'll keep an eye out for it then, for sure. Well, Ian, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate
your time.
All right, folks, stay tuned for more coverage. Great.
Are we still on?
No, we're good.
Yes.
Okay folks, welcome back to our ongoing coverage Origins Summer Preview 2017 with the Dice Tower. I'm Mark and I'm here with Kirk from Smirk and Dagger Games.
Hey there.
So tell us what you brought today. This is very cool.
Yes, well thank you. So this is a prototype for the Tower of Madness.
Tower of Madness.
Tower of Madness. And obviously this is based on H.P. Lovecraft.
Cthulhu.
Yep.
All the tentacles.
Yep. And essentially it is a push your luck dice game.
Oh. That's just the game right for me.
Yes,
Yep.
and it's got a marble-filled tower here.
Okay.
Used as a punishment device for doing your investigations poorly.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Right. So you're all investigators. You're investigating unspeakable horror without losing your marbles.
All right. All right. So how does it work then?
You've got a series of encounters here,
Okay.
and these unspeakable horrors, and at each player is going to have to roll to see how well they do at that investigation. Every time you roll the dice, you must use at least one of them and kind of lock them in.
Okay.
And it's important that during the course of your turn, you must have a gate and then bring your heart and mind to it.
I see.
So you're going to need a 1, 2, and 3.
Gotcha.
So I've just rolled a 2 and a 3, so I'll go ahead and plug those in.
Okay.
That's great. I got a heart and mind. Now, I could plug in other dice, trying to get these 2 dice as high as I can to be the best investigator.
I hear you.
But right now, I really need to make sure I get the gate. So I keep on rolling and plugging in dice, hoping to get at least that. Well, I didn't get it.
Didn't get it.
I had to use something. So I'll put that in my investigation.
Okay.
Keep on hoping for the gate. There it is.
All right.
That's a successful investigation.
Okay, good.
Now, what that means is that I am not going to have to draw from the tower. If I was unable to complete this investigation,
right,
I would have to now draw from the tower. And any marbles that fall affect my character immediately.
And they go in these slots down
They
here?
do, yeah.
Okay.
Now, there are 4 types of marbles in the tower.
All right.
Now, while it is, it's going to remind people of a game like Kerplunk.
Okay, yes.
It is not, in fact, Kerplunk. You are not trying to avoid drawing any tentacles. There's a reason why we're investigating.
Okay.
We actually want to make discoveries. Blue marbles are worth 3 points when they fall out of the tower. So that's actually a good thing,
right? Yeah.
You start the game with spell cards, but in order to get more, white marbles have to drop from the tower, and you get 1 for each white marble that drops. However, while you are doing all of this, it comes at a risk. So, red marbles are madness. If you get 4 madness marbles, you give up all notions of trying to get points and all that sort of thing. You become insane and you join the game trying to bring about Cthulhu's Rise.
Of course.
You don't even roll dice anymore. You're just drawing from the tower and playing spells. All in an effort to get the 3rd Doom marble to drop. There are only 3 of these green marbles in the tower.
All right.
If the last one drops before they finish all their investigations, investigators all lose. Cthulhu rises. Game over.
End of everything.
Right, and if you're insane, you're like, yay! Except you're also just eaten last. So it's a very hollow victory. However, if you are the insane player that causes the drop of that last green marble, that's a win condition. You are raised as the exalted at that point.
Nice.
So this game does include spells, which both have a sane and an insane side, depending on your current state. And all of the different locations, while they start with a clock tower which has no real ability, when you get into other ones, the abilities of these cards start to change, and it changes how you roll. So in this case, at the Overgrown Cemetery, both of your discovery dice, these last 2 dice, have to be of equal value or you fail. And other things like that. In this case, if you roll double 4s, they become wild. Different things. Now, in order to take over and be lead investigator at a different location, you have to roll the highest you can in those last 2 dice. So 12 is the, without use of a spell card, the highest you can get. So if you beat the last player, or you tie them, you take over as lead investigator as it moves around the table.
Interesting,
So whoever is the best investigator gets all the point value that comes with the location. So 6, 10, 9,
Nice.
As well as all the discovery points and the marbles.
Great.
So this is a really exciting game. It's wonderful when you're like drawing and like the tension of
don't want that last Doom token.
Exactly. But in essence, it truly is a push your luck dice game. With this is more of a punishment device.
This is really cool.
This has been in development for 3 years. And right now we are still trying to find out exactly what the MSRP is going to be. We don't know.
All right.
I want it to be a $50 game, but right now it's hovering at $60, and I'm still working with printers to get it down lower. But it's got so much in the box. It's got 36 marbles and plastic tentacles, and it's
tough,
crazy.
Do you have like a potential release date?
Yes. So we hope to have this game. Actually, I'm going to commit. We are going to have this game by this time next year.
All right.
At this show.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Well, can we pull some tentacles?
Carefully,
Let's do
Actually,
it.
what you're going to do is you're going to hear. See, I heard one just move.
One move, right? What if we pull?
But not everything is going to drop something.
Oh, nothing dropped. I really want some to drop.
Your first pulls are. All right. So there's a spell. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
So I now get a new spell card. Keep on drawing.
All right.
Oh, you got a clean one.
Oh, you got a clean one.
Up top, no.
No. I'm gonna do from down here.
Oh,
what do we get?
That's 9 points.
Look at that. See? I'm just dropping the mic right there. All right, Kurt, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. All right, folks, stay tuned for more coverage.
it over?
Yeah, bring the tentacles over. Okay. Oh, hi. How's it going? Kurt's coming over. He's bringing the tentacles because a lot of you had questions about the tentacles. So I will hand this to you. Hello, Kurt. How are you?
Oh, I'm losing marbles
you just got a couple spells, and so let's talk about the materials that you're expecting this to be made of. What are the tentacles made of?
So we have gone back and forth on that exact question, and it all comes down to what do we want the price of the game to be?
Yeah.
I had looked at creating these tentacles as three-dimensional molded plastic.
Yep.
And that would have caused the game to be $100.
Oh, okay.
So I said no.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Right now, I am looking for these to be made out of plastic with decals both sides that will be applied at the factory.
Okay.
And they'll be about the same. These are a little bit too thick. It'll be the same width as that skewer.
You just got another spell.
I know. So it's going to be the same width as that skewer, but it's basically going to look just like this.
Okay. All right.
I also looked at making them cardboard. Now, really thick, like 3 millimeter, like chunky cardboard.
Yeah.
But I was a little concerned about humidity, a little concerned about over time some breakage
or bending.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really thick cardboard, so it should be fine, but you just never know.
Okay.
So
this is still in flux. You're not quite sure where this is going to be.
I am trying to beat up printers and find the right partner to get the right price. So again, I would love to bring this in for 50, and right now I can't.
Right.
Right now it's at 60, but I would love to
knock that extra $10 off.
But we're looking at like this base that you're looking at right here.
Yep.
This is also going to be plastic, not blow molded. It'd be a real plastic. It needs that weight on the base to be stable. The dice are going to be custom molded. It's got 36 marbles in there. The tower itself is going to be constructed of actual like board game, like board material.
Okay.
And it should be hinged on all sides. If not, we'll go with E-flute, which is what this prototype is made out of. So it's quite an exciting project, which is why it's been like 3 years in development.
Right. Are you expecting to be able to disassemble it completely and put it flat in a box?
We are also looking at that.
Okay.
We're looking at a box size that hopefully would be like 11 by 3 1/4. Which case you could keep the tower basically together without unfolding it.
So you'll take the tower off the base and put it down.
Yeah.
Tentacles go on a little tray.
Exactly.
Okay.
If not, then this might have a Velcro closure to the tower, so you can assemble it. Together.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you looking to kickstart it, or is it going straight to retail?
I am planning to go straight to retail with this. However, I am going to have the pre-order in the system very early, because I want to make sure that when this releases, people are not put on allocations.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that I'm going to have a very long lead time. I think I'll start soliciting probably the end of this year, and know that it's not going to really be out in the marketplace probably until this time next year.
Okay.
But I'll have games. I'm going to be sending them out to reviewers, so we'll get early looks, early thoughts on the game, and retailers will also have a first opportunity to have a demo copy.
Right.
So all of that is hopefully going to make sure there are enough units right when we launch.
People are asking about how you set it up. So I've taken it out of the box, I've got the tower on the thing.
Yeah.
And I stick the tentacles in.
Yes.
And then do I just dump all the marbles in?
You dump them all in, and now there are tentacles missing, so this is going to be. But what you do is, to make sure that the marbles are distributed through, you just shake it left or right, up and down just a little bit until one marble drops, and then you know that they're percolated through.
Okay.
Also, you'll notice that every other tentacle goes into the tower, so they're all marked with like a green circle to tell you, here's the one that goes in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you sort of aim for a non-green hole to stick it through.
It's opposite side.
Okay.
So it's always opposite side, and I'll actually have like a matching color on the inside to help guide you.
Okay.
Now there is some setup. It takes when you pull it out of the box and set it up, it's probably going to take you like 10 minutes to set up before anyone can, but
all right,
it's totally worth it. And the tension of when you're like, what's going to come out?
You got another spell.
Right, but that was all good stuff, just like in our demo.
There's far more madness still in there.
Oh, there's a lot of madness. And honestly, I love games where there's player transformation rather than player elimination.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's been a recurring theme in a lot of my games now. And again, with this game, if you go insane, you're not out of the game. You're an active participant, but your game completely changes. You're no longer rolling dice. You are playing spells and just pulling tentacles out, hoping to drop that last green marble. And it's now fun to play spells that are intended, instead of helping you, now you're like, oh, yeah, the heart that you roll it again, and I hope you get it again, because otherwise you're drawn from the tower.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to your evergreen title, Cutthroat Caverns.
Oh, yes.
You've announced an expansion.
Yes.
Now, with that announcement, are you planning a reprint of the base game, or even the big box version?
What a good question.
Is that a good question?
Yeah.
Is there a good answer for that?
There's an excellent answer for that. I have a lot of Cutthroat Cavern news.
Okay.
So the first thing is that, yes, Cutthroat Caverns will be delivering Expansion 5, Death Incarnate, and that will be at Gen Con.
Okay.
We are going to be, as part of that expansion, you're going to see some of the graphics updated. We looked at the game it's been out for about 10 years now. So some of that art looks about 10 years old, the graphic design, and it really needed some refreshing. So we are also going to, for the 10th anniversary, reboot the base game.
Okay.
And it's going to be an art refresh, a graphic layout refresh. We're tweaking maybe just a couple of the encounters to increase the life points, because that first set was a little bit weaker.
Okay.
But by and large, same game, but just a nicer look. Now, that look is being introduced in the 5th expansion.
Okay.
And that 5th expansion is all dedicated to like the most interesting encounters that we've ever had, which are the incarnations. And all the relics, all the events, all the creatures are all incarnation based.
Okay.
So it's going to make, I honestly think it is the best expansion we've had since like number 2, which was a milestone for us.
Okay. Now, will you still be able to play 5th expansion with all the previous
Absolutely,
stats?
yes. No,
okay.
so all the backs are common.
Okay.
They're not changing.
Good.
It's just a graphic update on the face of the card.
Okay.
And eventually, all of the current content will be, the next time we have to hit reprint, will be updated.
Updating in the new design
That's
on the
right.
front of the card.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The other thing to say, and this is kind of also very new news, Cutthroat Caverns app is back on.
Okay.
So I am working with a developer right now to, and we should have, fingers crossed, a beta available to look at our Gen Con booth.
Wow.
So, I think it'll be maybe like one encounter of the Ripper to see how it's going to work.
Right.
But it is intended to be a solo play game with 6 different AI players that are all programmed to behave like different personalities that you encounter at the table.
Okay.
So you're going to have a player that is programmed to be tit for tat. You did something
you
to
hurt me,
I'm targeting
hurt
you, right? It's all stuff we see at the table all the time. Another one is going to be just like, no, I walked in this room with a grudge and you're it.
Yeah.
Another one is largely a helpful player, one who's like the peacemaker.
Yeah.
So all kinds of different play styles. And it was important to do it as a solo game. One, because I think a lot of apps, that's what people, if they don't have someone to sit down and play with, they like to play, against an AI, if it's a smart one. The other thing is that because there's so many opportunities for interrupts through that game, it was almost impossible to make it live against another networked player.
Right, yeah.
Because the lag time would have killed the enjoyment of the game.
And even a pass and play, you have, give me the iPad.
Yeah.
I want to do something to you right now.
So that was really the reason for the direction we did. So you'll always have 3 AI opponents out of the 6 randomly sorted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have to move on.
All right.
If people want more information about this and any of the Smirk and Dagger games, where do they go?
they go to smirkanddagger.com, or they can follow us on Facebook. It's Smirk_Dagger.
Perfect. Kurt, thank you very much.
Hey, thank
you for your questions. More very soon. Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Rob Orn. You should know that by now. Welcome again to the Origins 2017 Summer Preview, and I am here with Thames and KOSMOS, none other than the great himself, Tom Wetzel, my good friend of mine.
Thanks, Rob.
What do you got for me, my brother?
I have two very exciting new releases from KOSMOS. The first one is the third in the trilogy of Legends of Andor, and this is a big one. I can't control my excitement because I just read through the rules and it's really incredible. The characters are cooler, the storyline is cooler, everything about this is just bigger and better. This is a standalone game.
Okay, standalone?
Standalone game. Part of the reason for that is the character boards.
Right.
They're actually older. Like the characters, look at them. They got gray hair. They're older now.
We'll try to get this on the Q&A where you can go. Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Man, they're almost my age. How did this all go wrong?
Well, so the journey to the north, it took a long time,
Mhm.
you know, so they're on their way back, and this is in the southern part of Andor, so it took them probably years to get there, and on their way, they also acquired more abilities. So not only are the characters older, but they have stronger abilities. But of course, with that comes meaner monsters. The creatures are stronger. I don't want to give anything away, but they're really incredible. The puzzles are harder. If you haven't played the original game, you can pick this up and play it. However, you might get a little bit overwhelmed because I think playing the original game is going to help you a lot with knowing how to negotiate these puzzles, how to use the characters' abilities, and how to work together.
Now, will this do the same thing like the first one did, where it kind of taught you the rules as you went?
Yes.
Okay.
It does. So the first legend, this comes with 7.
Okay.
And look at this stack of cards.
That's just glorious.
It's great. There's 144 cards. The first legend, which is Legend 11,
Right.
because it's a continuation. Legend 11 is probably not as hard.
Okay.
Because it's teaching you how the new mechanics work. It doesn't go too far into how the basic mechanics work of moving and fighting. It goes into it because it is a standalone game, but it primarily focuses on the new things like the skeletons, which move in hordes. So instead of characters piggy jumping each other,
right.
These ones, they're going to move in hordes.
No.
And then you've got to fight them all at the same time. Not at the same time, but like individually before you can leave. It's got
It's brutal.
Yeah. And
One of my favorite games of all time. The kids and I are constantly playing this. We've done it numerous times. We love this game, and now you're telling me we have another standalone and they're older, and this just continues on. This is just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And to make things even better, we're going to release. So this is going to come out soon. Release date's not like set in stone yet, but probably pushed back till the beginning of next year. We have an expansion already planned for this. And the cool thing about the expansion is it's kind of like New Heroes, only the characters that you can add on your side, are a little bit stronger, but there's a little bit of evil in them, so they also hurt you a little bit if you play with them.
Okay.
So, some pretty cool mechanics that they've really, like, out of nowhere. It feels like they're just crazy cool mechanics.
And the one thing about this game that has always got me, it is absolutely beautiful. The artist that does this is just, I want to take him home.
Yeah.
Just paint my walls. I mean, the components and everything about this is just, again, top notch. You guys just blow it out the water. Blow it out the water with this.
It's great. Michael Menzel, who did the artwork and the game for this, he's done all 3.
Right.
So we're just super thrilled that he's very supportive of his U.S. clients. Like the Dice Tower promo that we sent to you guys. He loves promoting this game, and he really wants it to do well here. I think it's really working.
I agree. Now there's another side to the board.
There is. You want to see the other
Yeah,
side?
why not? Let's give them a full taste of it.
So the first.
We're not greedy.
The first 6 are played on this side, and then the last one are played.
Now watch this.
Here.
This looks like it is not going to be a good time.
So the storyline of this one is that you are actually, so while you were up north,
You found your way south.
Yeah, while you were up north, some of the citizens of Andor were captured by this evil king, so you've come down here to free them, and to do that you've got to traverse this lava-flowing volcano terrain. It's really cool.
This is just, wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get my hands on this one.
It's exciting.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what else we got here?
So, the next big announcement from Thames and Cosmos is that we have a Column of Fire. This is the official box cover. And I also have a little bit more information on the game.
Okay.
So when I was at Origins, I said that this is worker placement, and it is, but it's got one of the most unique worker placement mechanics I've seen in a game. And it's also got a rondelle to it. It also has espionage. It's got kind of almost like a area control, not so much, but kind of. It's got some really interesting mechanics. And Michael Reineck, who did Pillars of the Earth, is also designing this, and Michael Menzel is doing the artwork. So, gorgeous board, really solid mechanics. Yeah,
Man.
very excited for it.
Now, when can we expect this?
That's another cool thing. It's coming out September 12th, which is the same day as the book Column of Fire is being released.
Oh, wow, so it's coinciding with the book.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I can't say how excited I am for both of these games. And Column of Fire, I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a brain burner, but at the same time, it's going to be very rewarding to see how all of these mechanics are going to work together, because it has a lot going on, but there's a clear connection between all of them. It's gonna be fantastic. Yeah.
It definitely sounds it. Well, it looks like it's going to be another great year for Cosmos. Tom, I can't thank you enough for coming by and showing us all of this awesome stuff. I am absolutely thrilled about it. And now you got me all jacked up, dude. Bro, again,
thanks, Rob.
You're a good dude. Hey, get us on out of here, Derek.
And you'll have a mic.
All right.
This is Ryan.
Tom, come on in. I've got a mic for you.
Thank you.
So the first thing we wanted to make sure we were clear on is the name of the new Legends of Andor game. It is The Last Hope.
Yes.
And this is a standalone game. You said it works if you've never played any of the other Andor games, but
Correct.
It's more difficult than.
Yes. If you are a gamer, I think you could pick it up pretty easy. But I think you would have a much better time if you had experience with the base game first.
Okay. Yeah. All right. A Column of Fire. How closely does it mesh with Pillars of the Earth?
So it has some similar mechanics in name, but it is otherwise pretty different.
Okay.
It has kind of a worker placement. So, all right. So in this way, it actually makes a lot of sense. Pillars of the Earth has that really interesting pulling your workers out of the bag mechanic,
okay,
which kind of puts a twist on worker placement. This one also has a twist on worker placement. It's different. You're actually using dice in a really different way. It's not like other worker placement games. It's not like I can't think of the names right now, but it's not like some of those other worker placement games where you're using dice as workers.
Like Alien Frontiers or Kingsburg.
Or Kingsburg. It's using dice, but in a different way.
Okay.
You're constantly manipulating them and using the colors of the dice in addition to the numbers on the dice to place your workers and to also move a second worker around a rondelle. It's just fantastic.
Okay. And people are asking, show it to us, show it to us. This is still an empty box, right?
This is an empty box,
Yeah.
but I can show you the back.
Ah, well, here's the back of the box.
Yeah.
There we are. So yeah, it's a whole bunch of pieces and a board, but it's an empty box. I can tell you, there's nothing in here.
If you go online to themesandcosmos.com, you can get a better picture of the back of the box.
Okay.
And you can see the board, which is gorgeous.
Speaking of Pillars of the Earth, plans for a reprint?
Yes.
Soon?
Yes. We're going to do this first, September 12th, and then we're going to do Pillars of the Earth, which will hopefully come out at the end of this year. That's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're very excited about that.
Excellent. And of course, I'm very excited about the Exit games.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the future? I mean, well, first, the first set of Exit games are now available.
Yes.
But for those of us who have blasted through them, when can we expect more from the series?
So, similar timeline, we're hoping by the end of this year.
Okay.
We're working hard on getting those released as soon as possible. We're translating them now. We're going to go through a lot of play testing because there's a lot of work involved in creating these Exit games.
Yeah, I mean, these were originally written in German, correct?
Yes.
What goes into turning a puzzle game that's written in another language into English?
You have to have a few geniuses.
Okay.
Working.
Genius wanted.
Yeah. Luckily, we have a couple of those where I work, at least a couple. And it involves translating first and then going through, and sometimes you almost have to abandon the puzzle because it's so different.
Okay.
And rework it to make it give you the same kind of satisfaction of.
So, say a clue relies on a play on words or something that doesn't translate from German to English, and you have to come up with a new play on words, or even come at it from a different angle.
Yes, exactly. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these are kind of word-based.
Huh.
And image-based, but the image ones are easy to translate.
Right. So, but hopefully, fingers crossed, say by Christmas time.
Yes.
You should be able to see these in a stocking somewhere.
Absolutely, that is our goal. And I will also let you know that I'm excited about the themes for the next 3.
Yes, tell us.
We have the castle. It's like an abandoned castle.
Okay.
And then we have a mysterious island. I can't remember the exact title right now. I just read I can't remember. So you're on an island. You need to get off the island.
Yeah.
And then you're also stuck in a polar station.
Fun.
So those are the 3. And I read through them a little bit, and they seem very fun.
Do we have to hide from a polar bear?
I don't think so.
Oh man.
I think you're stuck in the polar station.
Okay.
However, I haven't actually played through it. I don't know what is in the polar station.
Maybe there's a polar bear. in the polar station. Maybe.
Nothing's impossible.
He can neither confirm nor deny the existence of polar bears.
Yes.
Tom, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for your questions, everybody. We got more coming up.
Hey everybody, Rob Orrin here. Welcome back to the Origins 2017 Summer Preview. I'm here with Ryan Skinner, Passport Games. Brother, what do you got for us?
I have so many things. Thank you for having me here. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So we have a new one that we're releasing a little bit later this year. We're showing off Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time.
You got me right there.
Gotcha. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
That's all you guys need to know. There you go. So we've been talking this one up for a couple months now. We're really excited for this one. It's a new one from Funforge, publisher of Takedo and a variety of other games.
Okay.
Big partner of ours that we work with out of France. This is a new cooperative game, which each player takes on the role of a character who is going to have to infiltrate the Citadel, which is the big board that you see here.
Okay.
The reason why the players are going to do this is the evil professor, Mr. Professor Evil himself, has traveled through time and he has stolen a bunch of historic treasures and artifacts and whatnot.
Okay.
Things like, for example, the Mona Lisa or an alien relic or the Ark of the Covenant and so forth. These little guys that we have here on the board. And we, of course, as the good, upstanding adventurers we are, will not stand for him stealing them.
Never.
So we're going to come into the Citadel and we're going to try to take them back from him using all of our teamwork and prowess and special abilities that we each bring to the table. The objective is to collect 4 of them before the professor can abscond with 4 of them himself. So it's kind of a race against Professor and against time, quite literally, to get all them, before he gets away. The trick is it's never that easy, of course. You're going to get in here, and what we're going to run into in the Citadel is locked doors and traps and all kinds of little puzzly things we're going to have to deal with, as well as avoiding the professor himself, this little guy, who is going to be kind of brain scrambled, running around the Citadel, locking doors behind him and just like making things difficult for us while we're trying to avoid him and so forth. So the actual gameplay works in a sense that each player gets a unique character, each of which has a kind of theme with its abilities. We have Leroy Johnson, the ruler of switches, for example. He's going to be really good at controlling the traps and turning them on and off as needed or what have you. We have various other characters, each with, like I said, their own theme.
Irene Eldor.
There you go. Each one has a deck of cards that they're going to have available to them. You get a couple actions out of your deck each turn, so you have some choices as far as what you can do. And you're going to infiltrate the Citadel, not through the front door like a foolish person. You're going to instead sneak through the window of the ballroom or through the window of the gallery or the library. So you're going to come in one of these kind of secret entrances to the Citadel, and then you're going to try to progress around the room, and you can spend actions to unlock doors or disarm traps and things like that. In order for you to collect one of the treasures, which are in these 3 rooms randomized at the start of the game using this deck, you have to have met certain conditions based on the treasure. So for example, the alien relic, we have to disable all the traps that match those symbols in the whole citadel. So we're going to have to move around and do that. In addition to that, though, as we're taking our turns, the professor, like I said, is going to be roaming around and doing things, and he is controlled automatically with a set of dice. So every round that we move the professor, we're going to roll these, and it's going to tell us how much time he spends moving, which is going to be controlled by this here. He starts at the 12 point on the clock and moves clockwise. So in this point, he would move twice. This shows us how he's going to actually move in the citadel there, and so he's going to move through red doors, and it would move him. Normally, I can't remember exact combinations. I've only been through this a couple times. You'll have to bear with me. But this will tell you basically how he's going to move, and so he's going to move either through red doors or through the red treasure. And so based on the door that he's, or the room that he's in, each door has a color, and so he'd go through that door and so forth, using the red doors, blue doors, or green doors. Or he's going to move towards certain treasures accordingly as well. This can also affect how much the time moves. This can affect how many spaces he moves, or it can use a secret passage the professor can move through, and he can move directly to a certain treasure. So if he rolled this, he would move straight to the blue treasure all the way to here, and in doing that he's going to activate the trap in that room, he's going to lock any doors that are in that room that we may have already unlocked, and so forth. So as the professor's time moves around, we're trying to collect these before he can get to them. If he gets to that point, then he has gotten away with the red treasure. This one goes away and goes in the lost treasures section over on that side of the board there. And then we would get a new treasure that would be dealt into the library. And so we'd go and find the library, which is over here. And now we have the bust of Nefertiti, which is now the new red treasure, which has a time of 45 minutes. And so we would set him to 45. And
also, it could end up that he could get that pretty quickly.
Potentially, yes. So that's kind of the flow of things. So we're trying to race against him moving around this timer and going around and capturing us while we're moving through the rooms, using our actions and puzzles to do special things and what have you. So
now, is this the final edition?
This is, as I understand it, this is the final edition, except for the box, which we are noticeably absent here. This came straight off the factory, came to the show so we could show it off. It's releasing at Gen Con, so we'll have the whole thing there, as well as a retail release that same week. So that'll be there. So
all right, great, fantastic. Looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful. We really love how this came out. So
now I see you have something else to show us as well.
We do have something else to show you. We have. Also recently announced a new partnership with another international partner. I'll hand these down to you and let you kind of scoop these up. And we'll push this guy out of the way a little bit. The new partner that we're working with is a company called Rule and Make. They are based out of Australia. And they have done a handful of games in the past, and one of their newest releases they have that's going to be coming out through us is Skyward, the Airborne City.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so we just announced this one last month in May. And this is a really nice, light, but competitive, I cut, you choose kind of drafting game. So that means that, oops, I got all kinds of tokens in here spilling out. There's going to be there we go, a bunch of tokens, a bunch of cogs, those are helpful, as well as a little warden token. The game is going to be played out with this deck of cards, which of course will be all randomized here. And if it were the two of us playing, whoever currently controls the Warden token, which is randomized at the start of the game, they're going to deal out 4 cards per player to the middle of the table.
All right.
And I'm going to deal out 4, like kind of from all over the deck, because I have not shuffled this deck yet. So I deal out these, and then I deal out 4 more. So we have 8 cards to choose from between us. We're going to take this one, and we'll take the bottom one. There we go. All right. So I have these 8 cards, and what these 8 cards represent, first, is 4 different factions in this false universe trying to build the Airborne City, this new kind of idyllic new home for the future, basically. So the deck goes here, discard pile there. So we deal these out, and then in addition to the 4 factions, there's of course all the iconography on here. There are cards that will represent just giving you resources, which are these guys that'll have the little symbols on the right, and that's resources for that faction. So this is a blue resource. We have green, yellow, and there's a pink faction in there as well. So there's 4 different sets. And then we have buildings, which have costs on the left, and that's how much it costs to purchase it. So what I'm going to do as the warden is I'm going to split up these 8 cards into 2 piles, and then you're going to get the first pick of those piles.
Okay.
So if I say I really like, I really maybe want this beacon for myself, I might try to make it so that whatever else I put with this is not appealing to you, so that you don't want to take this pile. So maybe I do something like this.
See, I was looking at that guy. He looked like Professor Xavier.
He kind of does, doesn't he? Except,
see,
he's got his legs are working.
Okay. Yeah, his legs are working.
But there you go. So all right, so say I do this, and I put these all together,
right?
And they don't have to be even. I could do 3 cards and 5 cards, or 2 and 6, or however I want to split it up. I'm the warden. I'm in charge. So I then set these together, and then I choose one of the piles to put the warden token with, and I'm going to put that right here. So you now have first choice of these piles to decide which cards you want to collect. To put into your hand and ultimately try to build into a little tableau you're going to have. If you take this, you become the new warden. That also nets you a cog, which can be used as a wild resource of sorts. And so you take your choice, whichever one you want.
Oh, I'm taking this.
You're going to go for that. That one looks good. You get 5 things instead of 4. That is presumably good. So as the so as the new warden, you have the first choice of building a building. So of the cards that you've now collected into your hand, any buildings that you can afford, you could now pay for. So you look here and you have a building that takes...
And we'll put this where you can see it.
Yeah, of course. So you have the assembly line, which takes 1 green resource and then 1 wild resource. So that can be any of the 4. So you have this guy here that gives you 2 green resources. So you could expend this, and I would go to the discard pile to build this and put it in front of you. Then every player would have a chance to do that. So I would have a chance with that building I wanted to build, the beacon. I need to spend 3, and I got 2 blue resources there and another blue resource here, and I have now built a building as well. So on the buildings, you have victory points and you have effects that are going to be granted to you, either new ongoing effects or one-time effects. There's various different types there. And then there's lots of synergy and combos that you can start getting into, especially if you start favoring one faction over another. As you imagine, they kind of work well together. So that's kind of how the game plays out. It plays until one person has built 6 buildings into their what's called their airspace. And at that point, then you finish the round, and then everyone adds up all the points they have, any combos they've enacted, and scores the game. So
that sounds great.
Nice and simple. Plays really quick. Yep. This one will also be releasing. It'll be pre-releasing at Gen Con actually. So we'll have copies there. It's a $25 MSRP, and then it'll be retail releasing 2 weeks after that on, I believe it's September 1st, if memory serves.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, looks like you had it going this year, brother.
We have a lot of good stuff.
I'd like to thank you.
I'd like to thank
Ryan from Passport Games coming by, showing us all this great stuff. Guys, that's it. We're going to send it back.
Hello, Bubble fanatics. I'm here with Ryan. We'll let you sit down.
Hello.
Here you go.
Oh, I get to hold the mic.
Yes.
And everything.
Just a few questions
Like a rock
for you.
star.
Yes. However you want to hold that mic. So we talked about release date for Skyward. You're going to have that at Gen Con a few weeks after that. Did you mention that for Professor Evil as well?
It is also releasing at Gen Con and retail release at the same time. So it's, I think it's like a Friday the 18th or 19th of Gen Con. That's retail and the release of Gen Con. So.
Do you know a price yet for Professor Evil?
It should be 40.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What's the player count for Professor Evil?
2 to 4 players.
Okay.
There's 5 different characters you can play as, so there's some variability as far as how you want to use the person that's really good with the switches or someone that's really good at manipulating the clock or what have you. You can kind of build your team how you want it.
Okay.
What we found is really nice is unlike some other cooperative games where sometimes it feels like certain roles are really integral to winning, this one you can really build the team with any of the 4 of the 5 characters and you absolutely have as much of a chance as ever. So, yeah.
This question comes up a lot whenever we see a game that uses cardboard standees. Did you look at minis and price that out? Was this always a standee? And what is the price difference when we're talking about cardboard versus plastic? Because it's significant.
It is, as far as I understand it. It's a fair question. I don't work with the manufacturing myself.
Yeah.
And in the case of Professor Evil, it is a FunForge title, and so we don't actually have our hands in any of the product development.
The production
it's really,
part.
Yeah, the production, all that stuff is pretty much with them, and then we take the game kind of as is, bring it to the worldwide market beyond just FunForge's reach. So that's where we kind of fit in there. So it would really be a question for Claude and the crew at FunForge, which I couldn't speak to. But it's definitely a cost-saving measure, I'm sure. I think with the art that's in this game, it speaks a lot to the desire to have the characters really, that art really be featured as opposed to the miniatures that, if they're painted, they can look great, and unpainted miniatures can be fine, but it's not really the same thing. And I think if I had to guess, and that's purely me guessing, it would be because they really love the art and wanted to show the art off.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
There you go.
I think that covers. The chat has been a little bubble fanatics. They're still. We had a game about bubbles yesterday, and they're still talking about the bubbles. So we appreciate you answering the few questions that they have.
Not a problem.
I'm excited to see more from these at Gen Con.
Yes.
And we appreciate you hanging out with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for your questions. Stay tuned.
And welcome back to our continuing live coverage of the summer preview with Origins Game Fair. You're watching the Dice Tower. I'm Sam. This is Scott from
Hi,
Rio
Sam.
Grande Games. And we're taking a look at Oktoberfest. We've got a lot of other stuff to go through as well. So saddle up, because we're going to hit the ground running. Show us Oktoberfest.
I'm going to give you a quick overview.
Absolutely.
So Oktoberfest is a closed economy game.
Okay.
You are a brewmeister trying to direct people into beer tents and supply your beer to them to make you the most successful brewmeister.
Okay.
Effectively, what you're going to do is send people to beer tents. They're going to consume beer. You're going to get victory points for supplying the right beers to those people who want those beers.
Okay.
Okay. Beginning of the game, everybody starts with some money and some patron tokens. These are people that you're going to use to fill up tents, to close tents. Because only when tents close do you score up to see who provided what. That's how you get victory points, basically.
Gotcha.
Okay? On your turn, you can only do one of three things on your turn. And you have player screens, so your money and these patron markers are actually hidden. But I'm going to keep them in front just because we're right here. It'll be easier. Okay? On your turn, you can do one of three things. At the beginning of the game, the thing you're probably going to do the most is start an auction to send these people who have demand. They like particular kinds of beers.
Correct.
You're going to direct them into these tents.
Okay.
You start an auction. So my action is going to start an auction. I'm going to maybe choose this gate to open and let these people in.
Okay.
We're now going to have a once-around auction where people have the
Using
choice to take money from behind your screen, to put it in front of your screen, to make the decision of which tents those people are going to go into.
Okay.
So you might put out, let's say you're going to put out 2 coins.
All right.
Okay.
Boom.
The next player, they can put out coins or not, they might pass. Now it's my choice as the person, we go around to the person who started the auction to decide if I want to make that decision or I want to take money.
All right.
So what I can do is take your money to let you make that decision.
Okay.
Or I can pay you 1 coin more. You put out 2 coins, I could give you 3 coins to make the decision myself.
I see.
And the money always stays in the game.
Okay.
So once, let's say I do that, I pay you, I want to make the decision. So one of these people I'm going to discard. I'm going to throw them out of the fair. So I'm going to throw them out.
Okay.
Next, with the remaining 2 people, I must send them to different tents. Maybe I'll put this person here and this person here. The rule is, as you're putting them into the tents, they go in increasing value. So if there was already a 1 in this tent, I can put a 3. The numbers always have to go higher.
Okay.
I can skip. What I can't do is if I had a 4, I can't put a 3 on top of that. Okay? Now, for having made the decision of people going into the tents, I now can supply some beer to them.
Okay.
This person can take a maximum of 2 barrels of beer.
Okay.
This person can take a maximum of 2 barrels. Notice the number 1 can take a maximum of 1 barrel of beer. I can choose how much I want to supply, but we'll only supply what they want. So this person likes a pale ale.
All right.
I'm going to choose to only give them 1 barrel of pale ale. Okay?
All right.
The cost of manufacturing that pale ale is 1 coin per. If I'm going to do 1 barrel, it costs 1 coin. There's a little chart right here.
Gotcha. Okay.
I provided pale ale, so I'll put a coin in there to show I've provided 1 barrel of pale ale, and I take this pale ale card and put it in my hand behind the screen.
All right.
Now for the dark lager, I'm going to choose to provide 2 barrels. So I'm going to pay 3 coins to the dark lager and take 2 cards.
Gotcha.
The reason why here's 1 barrel costs 1 coin, 2 barrels 3, 3, 5, 4, 7.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've taken these 2 cards.
Okay.
And now that auction action is done, it's now the next player's turn to take an action. Because we have an empty gate, we'll put out new cards. If it ever happens that 2 of the cards in any gate cannot legally be placed, we close that gate.
Okay.
If it ever happens that all 3 gates are closed, then only the other 2 actions, which I haven't told you what they are, can be done.
Okay.
For the rest of the round.
All right.
So let's talk about the other 2 actions. The next action you could do is if you have barrel cards, you can sell them back to make money.
Okay.
So maybe I'm going to sell back a dark lager card. If I put it
in this pile, I can take all the money in the dark lager pile.
Really?
Okay?
Wow,
All the money.
okay.
I could also choose, if I'm going to return another card, I don't have a dark lager, but this has the most money, I can return a pale ale card and take half of any other one rounded up. So in this case, I could take these 2 coins. Okay? But here's the thing. These cards are what you use to get victory points.
Okay.
So your choice is either save them to use them for victory points, or sell them back to get money.
So is it kind of like almost like a stock market, maybe? Because you're like putting your stock into that company so that you can make that company be the best?
In that way, yes, a little bit. Because now so those are 2 actions.
Okay.
Now the third action, which is how you get victory points. Later in the game, as these, let's just say it's later in the game, and this is what the gates look like.
Okay.
There are some wild cards. When you play a wild card, you can choose what you want to make that person's demand. So we'll say that's maybe a porter.
Okay.
Okay. And let me look at cards. Dark ale. Let's just say it was like this later on in the game.
Yeah.
Now, the third action is I can start an auction to close a tent.
Okay.
Okay. To do that, I take one of these markers. These are the morning markers, afternoon, evening. I will take the first one that's available, and now I say I'm starting the auction to close a tent. We now go clockwise with me making the final decision.
Okay.
You can then say, I want to spend one of my patron tokens. You're sending people in to close the tent.
Gotcha.
And you put this marker on there to show you want this tent to close.
Okay.
This person now can put patron marker. They don't have to. They can say, you know what? I want this one to close. You can never have the total number of patrons on any card be the same amount. They could have instead put one marker over here. That's totally fine, because this tent, all the tents have to have a unique amount.
Okay.
And the reason why will make sense in a second.
All right.
So maybe they've done that. They really want that tent to close, but you know what? I don't want that tent to close. I want this tent to close. So I have to put a higher number than any other tent, or to close it.
Yeah.
I'm going to put 3.
Okay.
And I put my marker on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now as the last person, and I could have chosen not to do anything if I wanted to.
Right.
I'm the last person, so now a tent has to close, the one with the most. It's going to be this one is going to close. We look at the top demand, which was for dark lager.
Right.
And we look at the total, so it's 9. Everyone is going to show their dark lager cards, what they've supplied.
Okay.
So I have 2 cards, everyone
Right.
else shows their amount. Whoever has the higher number of barrels showing gets that number of victory points. So in this case, I would get 5 victory points. Whoever had the second most amount.
5 or 9?
Oh, I'm sorry, you were right. Thanks for paying attention. You're right, it would be 9. It would be 9. Whoever has the second most amount would get half rounded up, so they would get 5 victory points for doing so.
Okay.
Now, all the people who did not bid to close this tent, we split these patron tokens amongst them. So evenly amongst these 2 players would each get 1, and this one would go in the pile to be gotten later.
Okay.
And then this tent closes. No more people can be added to that one.
Okay.
We're going to play until we get to the end of the morning, this same way, till we close 3 more tents.
Right.
And then when that happens, we're going to shuffle 5 and 6 cards demand in here.
Okay.
When we get to the end of afternoon, we'll shuffle 7 value cards in. So higher values will go into the gates.
Right. Gotcha.
There's one more little mechanism, the tapped out card, which these are mixed in there. If 2 show up in a part of the day, it will automatically close whichever tent has the highest value on top.
Okay.
There's a little tiebreaker for that. And the reason why we do that is there has to be some pressure, because if you're just saying like, oh, I want this to get higher in value,
right,
it might actually close. So there might be pressure to close it instead of waiting for that.
Gotcha.
Okay. We play till we get to the end of evening, and whoever has the most victory points wins.
Is the winner. All right. Cool.
That's it.
All right. So that's Oktoberfest.
That is Oktoberfest.
All right. Have you ever been to an Oktoberfest before?
I have actually.
Yeah.
It is very fun.
I've been to one.
And it was very crazy.
And it was in Munich.
Really?
Yeah, it was. It was interesting.
I bet that was festive.
I was absolutely amazed that they had so much alcohol next to Amusement park rides. It just doesn't seem like a very good combination to me.
But I think they're experienced and they can handle that.
Maybe so.
That's my guess.
All right, very
All right.
good. All right, we'll move this over.
All right. Next, we have Bonanza, and you're going to be one of the first people here in the U.S.
the
to see
duel.
this. We literally just
My family
got this.
loves this game, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Well, this is specifically only for 2 players.
Right.
Okay. And you can play regular Bonanza with 2 players, but this is really geared specifically for 2 players.
Yeah, we actually played Bonanza so much when we first got into gaming that we tired ourselves out on it.
Really?
Now my youngest one, because we have my first Bonanza. And so we're teaching our 6-year-old how to play it, and now he wants to play it all the time. So we're playing it again. So
That's great.
It has risen back to the top. Yeah.
So, so this game is specifically version is only for 2 players.
Okay.
All right, and it's similar. You're going to see how it's a little similar, but you're going to see how it's also a little bit different.
All right.
We're going to at the beginning. You're dealt 5 cards, which is your hand, just like in regular Bonanza. You cannot change the order of the cards.
Okay.
You're also going to start with 3 victory points. Coins are victory points, just like in regular Bonanza.
Okay.
And how much, your viewers, how much, are there some people who probably haven't been acquainted with Bonanza, or do you think they already know Bonanza?
We've talked about it fairly regularly throughout the years, so I would imagine that some will. I would assume that they don't.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So in Bonanza, we have a bunch of different kinds of beans that we're going to be planting into our bean fields.
Right.
And each of the different kinds of beans have different frequencies. For example, blue beans, there are 20 of them in the deck.
Correct.
Red beans, there are only 8. So each of these cards have a number on them, and that tells you how many there are.
How many are in the deck?
In the deck.
Right.
So this is this deck.
Gotcha.
Each of the cards also have a payout chart. So when you harvest it, depending on the number of cards you have, you'll get a certain number of coins, which are victory points.
Okay.
So if you harvest 3 cards, you'll get 1 coin. If you harvest 8 cards, in this case, you'll get 3 coins. And the value of this chart changes depending on the cards.
Right.
Okay? Now, also in this game, we have these which are bonus cards, B-O-H-N, which means bean in German. These are bonus, B-O-H-N US cards. I want you to take 3 of these and put them in your hand.
Okay.
I'm going to take 3 and put them in my hand as
now,
well.
Do these have
the order does not matter for the bonus
order
cards.
doesn't matter.
Now, if you
but
notice,
these guys must stay in order.
The backs are different, so we can see that they're different.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, in Bonanza, the order of the regular bean cards is important. It doesn't change.
Right.
So, on your turn, there's 4 parts to your turn. The first part of your turn is you must plant at 1 or 2 cards from your hand. We each start with 3 bean fields. I can put 1 card there and 1 card there if I want to, or I could just plant, oops, I changed the order. I can just plant 1 card if I want to, and then the second one here.
Yeah.
Now, the rule that's different in Bonanza Duel is that you can plant any number of cards in a field, and the cards can be different, but as they're being played, they actually have to be the same number as the card previously played or higher. So you can play 8, 8, 8, 8, 10, 12, 14. What you can't do is 14, 14, 14, 14, 12.
Right.
They cannot ever go in descending order.
Gotcha.
Okay? Now, just like in Bonanza, you can harvest a field at any time in the game. I can do it on my turn, I can do it on your turn, and you'll get the value of the top card for cashing out.
Correct.
So for example, if I've got an 18, I don't have some cards here. So let's say I have an 18 and a 20, and later on I'm able to play another 20-20. I've got 4 cards, it says here for 4.
Okay.
I get 1 coin, so I take these cards, keep 1 of them on my victory point pile, and all the rest get discarded.
So you don't have to have 4 blue beans, you just have to have 4 beans.
Correct.
Okay.
In the pile.
Was that in my first Bonanza? Is that a carryover from my first Bonanza? I want to say that it was.
It's been a while since I've looked at my first Bonanza, so I don't know.
Strike that. It might not be, but
he might be right too.
Yeah, I don't know.
He has a better memory than I do,
no,
so that's probably the case. Okay, so you can harvest these at any time.
Okay.
But you'll notice as if you put the higher number cards on here, they'll be worth less and less, the cards that you have. Okay?
Yes.
So first action on your turn, you play one or two cards.
Okay.
Okay? Second,
you must do the first, right?
You must do that first. The next thing you do is you put out 3 cards from the draw pile, and now you must make an offering of a gift. A gift must be given.
Okay.
Okay. The way you offer a gift is that's what we have these gifting cards up here.
Okay.
I'm going to make an offer to you of a card. It can be of these cards. It can be a card that I have in my hand. I can also try to bluff you, which when I was learning this, it didn't make it sense. Once you start playing it, you totally understand why you might want to bluff. So I'm going to make an offer to you. I'm going to offer you an 18. Okay?
Okay.
It's kind of a high card. If you start with an 18, you don't have very many places to go. So you say, I don't want an 18 card.
Great.
So you're going to counter offer, and you might offer a card that you have in your hand. Do you have a card in your hand? Give me an offer back.
Yeah, let's do, let's see, what is this?
Don't take it out, just make the offer.
Yeah, we'll do the
Okay,
12.
now I have a choice. I can either accept that, or I can counter offer again, but I can only counter offer with a card that hasn't previously been offered.
Okay.
So we can go back and forth, and usually what happens is you're making offer of cards that you don't want, or you don't want your opponent to have, that they don't want.
Yeah.
So you do it till finally someone gives in and decides to take cards. So let's say I'm going to offer a 20 card. So I put that forward, and you decide to accept it.
So does this go back?
No, it just stays up to show that it can't be offered again this round. So you decide to accept my offer of 20. You're going to accept it.
I am.
You're going to accept it for this example.
Okay, I will accept it then.
Okay. So I can either give you a 20 from my hand to get rid of cards where I don't like the order, the positioning, or I can give you one of these.
Okay.
The gift goes to the side of your field.
All right.
Now, of the cards remaining, I may discard one. I don't have to, and then I must plant all the remaining cards.
Okay.
So maybe I will plant this 18 here, and I'll plant the 20 here, and now you must plant the gift. If it ended up instead that you didn't like this gift, you countered with something and I accepted it, then maybe you probably gave it from your hand, I would put it on the side, I would have to plant that.
Okay.
Okay?
What
so
if you
someone
bluff,
has to accept, if you bluff, good point, if you bluff, you offer something and I accept it that you don't have, you have to give me one of your coins, a victory point.
Okay.
And
so that's a risk reward.
That's right.
Okay.
So after that, so we're done with the offering, we're done planting. Then the next thing we do is I must draw 2 more cards
and add them to the back of your hand.
And add them to the back of my hand.
All right.
All right.
Now, can they go and be
so the bonus cards,
or?
It doesn't matter where the bonus cards are in your hand because we can see they're different.
Gotcha.
Now, this is where it comes into play that any time during my turn, if and I should say this, I don't know if your viewers can see this, the bonus cards show a pattern. If at any time during the game, one of my bean fields or one of your bean fields matches this pattern, and so for example, this pattern is 4 cards in a row that are all different, or in a field. This one is 1 card, then a different card, and then 3 of another different card. If I have a pattern that matches this, I immediately can fulfill it, and I put it in my scoring pile.
Okay.
Same thing as if it ever happens on your turn that, this matches what you have on your thing, I can still score it.
I got it.
So at the end of the round, we both have the option, the end of a turn, I should call it a turn, I have the option, if I of my bonus cards that I had in my hand, if I didn't like one of them, I can discard one of them, and then I draw back up to 3 bonus cards.
Really?
Same thing with you, even it's my turn, you can discard one of your bonus cards.
Or bean cards?
I mixed that up.
Yeah, okay.
You're right. Thank you for paying attention.
No, that's
fine. It was a test. It was the bonus cards.
Cool.
We each can discard up to 1 that we don't like, and then draw back up to 3.
All right.
And then it's the next player's turn.
Okay.
That's how we go until we actually run through this deck. And then the game ends.
Just once?
Just once.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go through all the cards, and then you add up your victory points. Your victory points are all the coins you have that you've planted.
Yeah.
And then the bonus cards also are worth that number. So this is worth
0.7.
1.7 beans.
Okay.
And you add those up, and whoever has the highest total wins.
And probably won't be a whole lot of tying with those in
Generally,
mind.
Generally not.
Generally not. This is cool.
Great.
That's interesting.
It is really hard to understand this gifting without once you play it, you're like, ooh, everyone who's played it like, wow, this is really takes some bluffing and consideration in terms of what you want, what you don't want, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really kind of seemed unintuitive based on my previous knowledge of Bonanza.
Yeah, this is different, and it makes it really good for 2 players. It really makes it
makes it a really tight thing, and I like that you only go through the deck once.
Yep.
So that means it's going to be a shorter game. It's going to be a tighter game. Because sometimes the way we played it, especially with a couple of people that know what they're doing, a game of Bonanza can go pretty longer than it should. I'll put it that way, because you have to go through the deck. What is it, 3 times?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this one, it's definitely a timer. It's going to go through one.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've watched people play it. I've played this. The game is simple. This whole gifting mechanism, I see people thinking like, all right, if I offer this, I kind of don't want them to take it, but I don't want to get stuck with this card. I want, and this really goes back and forth. This is really kind of a different, interesting mechanism.
Very cool.
All right.
All right. Looking forward to that.
Great.
Very good. So when is this going to be available? Is it available now? Or?
Excellent question.
Yes.
So we literally just got it into our warehouse a few days ago.
Really?
So we just started shipping it out to our distributors and retailers.
Cool.
So it has not really hit stores yet, although a couple of our retailers have it here at the show.
Okay, cool. Okay. Sounds good. All right. We got more of these guys over here. And what have we got next?
What do we have next?
Is that
let's do
Cartagena?
Cartagena.
All right, that's good.
Well, it's not exactly Cartagena.
Okay.
It's Cartagena's 2nd edition.
Hey. All right.
Have you played Cartagena?
I have not.
A long time ago. Okay.
So I'm a open book. I'm a
really
blank notebook.
Well, this is.
I apologize. I have played this.
Well, so
this brought it all back to memory. Yes.
Here's what's interesting is this has been out of print for a while.
Yes.
Okay. So it's an older game, family game. It's done very well for us. It's a popular game, but it's been out of print for a while, and this is Cartagena's 2nd edition.
Okay.
So this has some of the things that people are familiar with, and then some new things as well.
All right, that sounds cool.
So in Cartagena, a quick overview. Everybody has 6 pirates that are in the Cartagena prison. These are normally standing up, but I'm not going to take the time to stand them up.
I got it. I'll do that.
Okay.
While you talk.
And this is where Cartagena's 2nd edition is a little bit different. We have several variations or variants in the game, so you decide how you want to play and how long you want to play.
Right.
There are several of these tiles. All of them are double-sided. One side has the prison, the underground tunnel to escape.
Yes.
Cartagena. The other side are the island of Tortuga, which you're trying to escape from. You can make all the tiles the tunnel escape. Mm-hmm. You can make it all the island, or you can also make it in 2 parts with more of the tiles.
Where you have to escape this
where you have to
first
escape this and then get to the island and get to the pirate's nest.
That's cool.
Okay? And then I'll explain these in just a second.
Let's move these over in a little bit. Let's get some of those island tiles up there so that they can see.
That? Okay.
Yeah, just so they can see what it looks like.
Right.
Let's move these over here just so they can see what it looks like. There you go.
There. Okay, there's some more. And also, everybody starts with 6 of these cards. These 6 cards correspond to the symbols that you see on the game tiles. So the way the game works is you can take 1, 2, or 3 actions on your turn. You normally would keep these hidden, but you are doing a nice thing so that people can see what the images are.
Right.
When you play a card, you can move one of your pirates forward till it hits that symbol.
Right.
So in this case, if I played a lantern,
you go over here
if
like
I'm
that.
the red player, I will go to the lantern. For my next action, I might play another lantern card.
You can either move this guy here or move this guy here.
Correct. Or this one skips over to the.
Okay.
He goes to the next available lantern.
Right.
Okay. So that what you're trying to do is get all your pirates to the end, whatever that is. Either you can play just to the boat, or you can play get to the boat. And when you have pirates on the boat, you can then take an action to move the boat to the island.
All right.
And then continue moving your pirates till you get to the pirate's nest. And you can choose to play with, that's one of the variants.
Very cool.
Okay? And whoever gets all of their pirates to the end of whatever you decide the end to be will win the game.
Is the winner.
So you can actually control how long you want the game to be this way, how many tiles you're playing with. All right?
That's awesome.
So some of the variants in the game that make this the 2nd edition. the normal way, or the original way to get more cards is that for one of your actions, you could move one of your pirates backwards. Okay?
Right.
When you move one backwards, he has to stop at the first place he encounters another pirate. And however many pirates that are there, that's how many cards you drew. So if I was here and I moved it back here, I would draw one card from the draw deck to replenish one card. If let's say I had also had another pirate up here, for another action, I could move this back here, and I would collect two cards. The most you could have is 3 pirates on a space. So that's how you get cards.
Okay.
Another variation is instead of you moving your pirates backwards, you can move one of your opponent's pirates forward to draw cards. So I will be helping you.
Until
For
they
me
meet
to get
another
cards,
one.
I actually have to help you
okay.
till they encounter one. So if you go forward till you meet one, I would be able to draw one card.
Okay.
If you move to if I moved you to a place where there were 2 pirates, then I would be able to draw 2 cards.
Okay.
Okay? That's another variant.
Okay, that's cool.
Now another variant is with these cards, there are the black magic cards.
All right.
And each of those cards actually have a special function that you can use instead of playing it to move your a pirate. You can use it for its black magic. So, for example, the lantern allows you to draw 4 cards, choose one of them into your hand, put the others back on the pile.
Okay.
I think this is the rum card allows you to draw 1 card more than the number of players. So if there's 4 players, you draw 5 cards. You get 2, and everyone else gets 1 card.
Okay.
And so each of the cards has a special ability.
All right.
And that's
cool.
second edition.
Second edition looks good, man. I like the look of it. And these guys are nice and chunky too, so I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's good. All right, so
Great.
we got time for maybe one more.
All right.
It probably has to be a short one.
We got that. All right. So it
has to be a short one.
You want to push it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Link.
All right,
the
Link.
newest, and this just came out a couple weeks ago. Are you familiar with the GIF series?
Yes, I am.
This is Link, if you want to hold up for just a second.
I soundly defeated Z at this a few days ago.
Oh, you actually played it?
Yes.
Oh, great.
But I'm good. I'm glad you want to show it.
All right. So we don't have to do this, but we'll just explain.
It was luck, by the way. I'm not very good at it.
Okay. So in this game, we'll set aside one of each colored piece, except for the wild ones and red. So we have the 5 colors,
and these are
and
just
then
randomly put out,
quickly
right?
put these out. They have ridges on them, which I don't know if your viewers can see that.
Ruffles.
How did you get to play this? This really just came out.
It just showed up, and this is something that Z's been really looking forward to. So as soon as it showed up, we cracked it out, cracked it open, and had some fun.
I think we sent you a demo copy. So as soon as it came in, that may have been what happened.
That may have been it.
As you played it, it's actually relatively simple. On your turn, you move 1 stack on top of another stack.
Correct.
The rule for that is when you move it to capture, you have to move along a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
You can move over empty spaces, but you may not jump over other piles.
Correct.
And when you're capturing it, they have to be the same size, or the one that's capturing it has to be larger.
Right.
So this is legal, this is legal, this is not legal.
Right.
Also, you can't have more than 1 of the same color in a stack.
Yeah.
And the maximum height of a stack is 5.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to get stacks of 5, all have 1 of each color.
That's part of it.
Part of it, yeah.
Yes, you're right. Now, additionally, at the beginning of the game, all the colors are neutral, and this is something that's a little bit different. They don't belong to anybody.
Right.
All right. So, but during the game, you can claim a color. You do that before you take your turn. So I might say, I claim blue. Here's the problem. If I claim this very early, what are you going to do?
I'm going to cover up all the
blues. You're going to do everything you can to cover up all the blues.
Right.
Because I will only score blue for the piles that have blue on top.
On top, yeah.
Okay. So as you're going to do this, the game is going to progress. We're going to capture, take back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You can claim up to 2 colors.
Yes.
As soon as I have a stack of one of my colors that I've claimed,
top.
and there's 5, I take it off the board.
Yes.
That scores 1 point for me.
Right.
Okay? We're going to play until nobody can make any more moves. Now, if there's colors that haven't been claimed, both of us can still move them.
Correct.
Once I've claimed a color, you cannot,
I can't move that color anymore.
move
Right.
if it has my color on top.
Yeah.
We're going to play till no one has any more moves. Whoever has the most 5-point piles wins. If there's a tie, we look at 4-piece piles. There's a tie,
Then
3, 2, 1.
Right, yeah.
Okay? And now the last thing is there's 2 more things. One, there are neutral pieces in there. There's 3 neutrals that just adds a little variability.
You can have multiple neutrals on the same stack.
Correct. You just can't, when you're capturing, you can't have a neutral, one of these on top. The wild one's on top. And then there's the link rule.
Yep.
Okay? The way the link rule works is I'm going to have to set this up just a little bit. Bear with me.
No problem.
The way the link rule works is if you have a pile and it's making legal moves, you can move through in legal moves all the pieces of the same color of that pile.
Right.
So normally I can't jump over things, but this has blue on top. I can link through blue, blue, blue to capture red.
Yep. That's the link rule.
That's it.
That's
and that's
cool.
the whole game. You play until no one can take any more moves. Whoever has the most points wins the game.
Yep. That's we did have fun playing it. It's not my style of game, but it is one that I was able to have fun with playing with Z. So
So it's a 2-player abstract strategy game.
Yes.
No game is going to make everybody happy, but there are people
Absolutely.
we have that love the 2-player abstracts, and they seem to like this so far.
Absolutely. Tom and Z both like it tremendously. So I had fun watching them 2 play because they played right after Z and I played.
Question: when they were playing, and I know we're almost done, but did they get to the points where they're like staring, they're stopping and like staring at the board?
Oh yeah, and Z would do something. I'm like, and then you know Tom would like, why did you do that? Because I'm going to do this. And
so part of the fun
really
challenge, I think, is deciding when to claim the colors.
Right.
Is
that is one of the cruxes of finding that perfect time to claim one of the colors.
And let me just ask, when you played it, how long did the game take you to play?
Not very long, maybe 15, 20 minutes tops.
That's what we see.
Yeah.
Great.
Very good. Thanks so much, Scott, for showing us all this stuff.
Thank you for letting me show it to you.
You're very welcome. We're going to send him over to Z so that you guys can ask him some questions. And we thank you guys for joining. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
I understand, but I grew up with this, so I didn't wish it. It's the whole world. Right, now you're ready for where am I setting up?
Where am I going?
Excellent. All right. We've got just a couple of questions here for you. Let's see if anybody else has any others. All right. Let's talk about. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna need that. Clip that on.
How far away? Close? Is this good or?
That's fine. That's fine. All right. Bonanza Duel.
Yes.
That's also an Uwe Rosenberg design.
Yes, it
assume?
is.
Okay.
Correct.
What's the?
Good question.
Yeah. Well, somebody asked, so and I figured it was, but I wanted to make sure. When is that coming out, and what's the MSRP on it?
Oh, okay. So it literally came into our warehouse a few days ago.
Okay.
We just started shipping it out to our distributors and retailers. So it should start hitting stores probably the beginning of next week. Although we do have some copies at retailers here that are at Origins, which is why you should come to Origins.
Yeah, and if you are here and you're watching this live, then you can possibly grab a copy here.
If you want to get something before everybody else on the block.
There you go. Good.
MSRP, I apologize, I don't know off the top of my head.
Is it approximately 15?
I would say
like
it's
that?
between 15 and 19.
Okay.
I think it might be $19.95, it might be $15.95. I apologize. I don't know off the top of my head.
That's fine. I mean, it's a $4 difference, so that's what it is. All right. Release date on Oktoberfest.
That's a great question. I just learned why. Or I just learned, and I have got good information on it.
Hold
so
on here. There was. I see it coming.
Have you played Oktoberfest?
I haven't.
Have you played Concordia? Oh wait, I'm sorry. Was the question about Oktoberfest?
Yeah, Oktoberfest.
Oh, Oktoberfest.
We can circle back around to Concordia release date on Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest is already out. That came out a couple weeks ago.
Concordia, then.
So I'm sorry, I thought you said Concordia.
No, let's do it. Concordia.
So Concordia, everybody's been wanting to know. It just got loaded on a container at our European factory, and it is shipping this week. So we should be getting it the first week of July.
That's the reprint of Concordia.
That is the reprint of Concordia.
Is the expansion for that available as of right now, or is that
which expansion are you talking about?
The salsa
So
one, right?
salsa we will not have yet. That will be coming in the future, but it's not on that container.
And there's another expansion coming out for that. It sounds like
Gallia Corsica, I think it is, which is already out, and we do have that in stock.
That one's out.
That is an addition, a new board.
Okay, sounds good. Any other releases coming out from Rio Grande in the near future that you can talk about?
That is a good question. The answer is we will be. Cold Country should be coming out within the next month or two.
Okay.
And then we do actually have a couple more coming out, but I can't tell you exact dates yet. So the answer is yes. We have 2 more in queue that tentatively will be out in the next 2 to 3 to 4 months. Another question on here that your viewers may be asking is, when is Dominion Seaside coming back into stock?
Okay, it looks like you're cheating. Actually, I think you might be reading. I think you're reading my notes.
No, well, everybody asks that. I get 2 emails a day
about
for people who want Concordia and Dominion Seaside and Dark Ages.
Okay.
So Dominion Seaside's on the same container with Concordia. So when we get Concordia, we'll get Dominion Seaside.
Okay.
Dark Ages will be the next one that we will be getting afterwards. So should be the next month or 2 following.
Okay. And then I'll ask you just one more thing about the gift series. I know those are being reprinted from Hook and Friends, and Rio Grande has them here. Are they all back in print now, or are some still coming?
I think we have 5 or 6 of them. They will all be done, but they're being done in waves. So I think right now we have all of them. I want to say the one that we don't have yet is Tamska, but I could be wrong about that. I don't know off the top of my head which one it is that we don't have yet. But the answer is they will all be done.
Okay. And I think that's it. I think we're gonna let you go. We're gonna stop torturing you.
Great. This is not torture. This is a pleasure.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
Good talking.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, thanks very much. All right. Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our Origin Summer Preview here in Columbus, Ohio. You're watching the Dice Tower. I'm Sam. This is Zev Slashinger. No C. That's an inside joke, sorry. He is from WizKids, and he's got a bunch of games he's going to show off to us right now. So take it away, Zev. What have we got here?
All right, here we got DiceBot Megaphon.
Yeah.
We are robots battling in an arena. We have dice with various symbols on them. Everybody's going to chuck them in the middle, and then one by one, you're going to grab them quickly to build up your robot.
Okay.
And you need those parts because they're going to charge the weapons that you're going to play against the other robots. And the object of the game is to be left standing at the end of a battle round. You win a victory medal, and 3 medals wins you the game.
Okay.
2 to 4 players, plays in about 30 to 45 minutes.
So you basically play 3 battles in one game?
It could be, or it could be even more. It could be sometimes 4, 5, 6 battles.
Okay.
Because sometimes everybody can mutually destruct in one round.
Yeah.
But usually, yes, it's about average 2 or 3 about 3, 4 battles.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's cool.
But yeah, nice dice, comes with 24 dice the same, bunch of cards. And then there's also 12 unique cards which you can give your special robot abilities.
So this is not about like collecting roses in the garden or anything like that. This is
No, just shooting threatening
your
them.
opponents.
Yeah, or throwing the roses in their faces. I hope
Let
the thorns
the
get them.
world burn.
Yes.
All right, very cool.
All right, and that's Dicebot Mega Fun.
Dicebot Mega Fun. Okay, so next we have
Fantasy Realm.
Fantasy Realms.
Yeah, 3 to 6 player game. Very simple card game. Plays in about 15 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
The object of the game is you're trying to make the best 7-card combo in your hand.
Huh.
Absolutely. You just draw a card either from the deck or the discard area, and then you discard a card. When 10 cards hit the discard area, game's over, you score the cards in your hand.
All right.
There are like 11 suits, 5 each of 10 suits, 3 wilds, and they all do various things. They have a base strength, and they have bonuses and penalties. And again, you're trying to combo. Like some will say, oh, this card is worth 7, but it's +5 for every weather in your hand.
Okay.
So it's like, ooh, do I draft weather cards and build that? But then I got a card that says it suffers from weather. So which one do I want better? So
Okay.
that's why you're just trying to make the best combo out of your
All right,
hand there.
That's cool. I have heard some people talking positive things about this game, so I'm looking forward to giving it a
getting a lot of
whirl.
good buzz. Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, super.
All
All right, so what's next?
I'll go Deadline. Deadline. It has reminiscence of the Sherlock Holmes consulting detective, where you are trying to solve various cases by investigating. Unlike that, it's not a paragraph-driven game. It is a card game. It is co-op, 2 to 4 players. And what you're doing is you have each case. There's 12 cases in the game. And each case has between 17 and 21 cards or so.
All right.
And what you're trying to do is match the symbols. And here you're playing cards where you have symbols.
Yeah.
When you match all the symbols on a clue card, that's when you're able to reveal it. And it gives you information about the case and sometimes adds new clues to the case. So
Okay.
you don't start with all the clues in the case. So for example, let's say it's a murder that you're trying to solve. So you just might start with an eyewitness, the morgue, and maybe the medical examiner.
Okay.
But then all of a sudden the story builds. The medical examiner says, hey, you know what? There's a knife wound here, but I heard this guy used to frequent this club. Oh, so now the club can come into play, and then you can go visit that.
All right, that's cool.
Each person is a detective with a once per game ability. You have plot twists that can make it harder for you to fulfill the investigation, and then you have hot tips. So some cards, when you play them, have like a match book cover. And when you flip it over, it's a hot tip. You can use the hot tips to draw cards or remove plot twists. So
Okay.
very nice thematic thing. And again, 12 cases, they'll keep you busy. So you know,
So the time limit here says 60 minutes. Is
and
that
that's per case.
per case?
Yeah,
All right.
pretty much per case. Yes.
So you've got basically a whole lot of hours of fun in this
I
box.
would think so. Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Very
Sounds
good.
cool. Sounds
Yeah.
cool. So that's Deadline. I like the artwork.
Thank you. Yeah, very.
Like
It's
kind of a
1930s New
noir
York.
look to
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Pulp
cool.
noir. Yes.
All right. Very cool. That's Deadline. And now we have
The
sidereal sidereal.
Sidereal.
Sidereal
confluence.
Okay, I said sidereal
That,
or
that,
sidereal.
that happens.
That's fine. Confluence.
Yes.
All right.
And that means, and even we tell you in the back here, it's sidereal means of or with respect to the distant stars, and a confluence is of an active process of merging.
So the title of the game is Of or With Respect. No, I got to read it.
Oh, you want to
Come
do
on,
it
I
that
can't
way?
remember. Of or with respect to the distant stars in an act or process of merging. So it's merging the stars.
In a way, yes. So you are you are 4 to 9 alien races coming together to form like a galactic trade federation.
Okay.
All right. But no one wants to call the game Trade Federation. That's not fun. So, but
Definitely isn't a conversation starter.
No,
yeah.
not at all. So you have they're asymmetrical, so they're coming together. And while while they are coming together, it's still competitive because, of course, each race wants the ideal of their race to be at the forefront of the confluence,
Yeah.
right? You want their culture to be up there. So it's I like to call this Chinatown with steroids, the game, because it's 4 to 9 players.
Yeah.
It's negotiation. It's because you're trading resources. You can trade everything: colonies, your own cards, ships, or resources, everything but VP. And you can trade with other players, and you need to trade with other players because you're going to need their resources.
Yeah.
And then you also build technologies. And what's cool is when you build a technology, you get a free use of it for the first time, but you then share it with everyone else. Because again, you guys are sort of coming together. So you do share technologies
that's
for
cool.
that. Yeah, and it clocks in at about 2.5 hours, almost no matter how many the number of players. So you can play a 9-player game because it's all simultaneous. It's not turn-based. There's no turns in the game.
That's
it's
cool.
pretty much all simultaneous.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
That's
really
it's an interesting
cool
concept at the very least.
Yeah.
You know, just having a complete game of just everybody doing stuff at the same time.
Everyone, yep, because you're
wow.
all trading at the same time, then you're running your economic converters at the same time, and then you're bidding. So it only slows down a bit when you reveal the bids, and then highest bid chooses colonies and research teams. So that's the only time it sort of slows down in that way, and then you go back to simultaneous trading, negotiation, and running your converters.
Okay. So yeah, with a title that needs definition right off the bat, that's some word usage right there.
Absolutely. And there's the subtitle, Trading and Negotiation in the Elysian Quadrant.
Elysian Quadrant.
Yes. So again, to give another idea of what's sidereal confluence, okay, well, at least I know there's trading and negotiation going on.
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool. All right, that's cool.
And this is the stuff we have at Origins. We're premiering at the show. And these should all be in stores between, let's say, next week and July.
Everything that we've shown up to this point is available.
Correct.
All
Absolutely.
Right. Now to the next part.
So we have here, I'm sure people have heard about this, the Expanse board game. This should be out, I think, roughly in July. It has a Twilight Struggle-ish feel to it in that it's card-driven, and you are placing influence throughout the galaxy, the inner planets, the outer planets, and the belt. You are playing, if people are familiar with the IP, with the intellectual property, there's Earth units, there's Mars, and you have the OPA, which are like the belters, the people working the belt, and you have Protogen, which is the corporation that are working with that alien proto-molecule.
Gotcha.
And basically, everyone is trying to strive for influence, and you are buying cards for their action points or their events. Some events can only be played by certain factions, and you're just placing influence throughout the various bases in the areas.
We talked a little bit about this at Gamma as well.
Yes, we did.
So if you want a little bit more information about it, you can go back and check that out as well. So that's the Expanse board game. Now you said you're gunning for Gen Con on this?
July. I think it should
July?
be. It probably will be for sale. It should be for sale at Gen Con, but it should hit stores in July.
Okay.
If all goes well. You never know.
Coming soon. All right, so that's the Expanse, the board game. Okay, cool. What else?
So while we do have a few new games coming for Gen Con, we have Dungeon Hustle, we have Approaching Dawn, The Witching Hour, and we have a couple other games, but the other one we have is Tomb of Annihilation.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, so this was recently announced, the storyline by Wizards of the Coast, so now we can reveal it. It is it's in the same system as Castle Ravenloft, Wrath of Ashaldalon, Legend of Drizzt, and Temple of Elemental Evil.
Right.
Dungeon crawl, 1 to 5 players. There's going to be 42 new miniatures there. But this game does things a little bit different. It is compatible with the previous stuff.
Really? That's cool.
But it adds some new things. We have a spell deck in here. We have a trap deck in here. We mess with the experience points, being able to cancel. In the past, it took, I think, 5 experience points to cancel encounters. In this game, same thing, except that as you go deeper into the adventures, it gets a little harder to cancel. So 5 XP, 6 XP, 7 XP, and so on. And 8, I think it caps at 8. We also add jungle tiles here. So now we have outdoor tiles that you can mess with. So, we're very, very excited about this. It's our own design of this series. And we'll look forward to Gen Con.
Okay, so we see mummies on the front here.
Yeah. This is Ras Nisi. He's like an undead
mummy snake.
1T. He's like a 1T Malison, if I remember correctly.
You just
might
as well have been like hieroglyphics and Greek mixed together. Because I have
none of D&D fans.
All right, but we got some snake people down here too. Looks like.
Yes, that's his people there. He's also got a flaming sword there, which if you beat him, you can win that item. Which is very nice. I believe also there's some 1 or 2 new classes in this game. Like I don't think there was ever a paladin in the series, so we have a paladin in the game. So really a bunch of little new things here, but enough of the same that you can make it compatible to the other games. And the
Very
other
cool.
2 things is this will come in a, like our Assault of the Giants, in a standard non-painted version and a premium pre-painted version of all the figs.
That's cool. I'm noticing that a couple of companies are picking up on that, where they're offering those 2 different levels. Dust Tactics are doing it. Dust Miniatures is doing it. You guys are doing it now.
Right. There aren't too many that can
cool.
do it, so
Right.
we're happy to step in and continue with that idea.
That's a cool idea.
Well, thank
Very
you so
good.
much.
All right.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Well, thank you, Zeb,
Yeah, you got it,
for
Sam.
showing up.
That
We're
was a
going to head
pleasure.
you over to Z
Sure.
and for some Q&A time. So head on over there. We'll see you in a
All
little
right.
bit, folks.
Do I need this on still?
You can leave it here, actually.
All right.
Hey, how
You know,
are
it
you?
always throws me off because there's a delay between what I'm hearing here and what's going on up there. So as you guys are still talking, I look up and I see you coming. I'm like, wait a second. Always throws me off every time. All right, how you doing, Zev?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good.
Yes.
You
And
seem
you?
like you're doing fantastic,
Yes,
man. You're
I
on
am.
fire. People are loving your explanation.
Sweet.
It's
Awesome.
all going
Thank
very
you.
well. So I got a couple of questions for you
Sure
here.
thing.
Let's start here. Burke's Gambit. People are asking about any expansions on the horizon for that.
Currently, no, but we had talked about adding more. We have ideas for more rolls and also possibly more dice, but we're nothing finite yet. But there is a possibility, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Tomb of Annihilation. Is there a campaign mode in there?
Yeah, so like Temple of Elemental Evil, there are 13 adventures.
Okay.
So you can play them out of sequence, in sequence, and tell a story, whichever way you want. Same thing like Temple of Elemental Evil.
Gotcha. And then just one more big thing, and I'm pretty sure the internet will find and stab me if I don't ask.
Sure.
They're dying to take a look in that box. Is there something in that box?
No, there is not. Sorry. I can show you the back, though. The back is actually fully formed. They're right there. Yeah,
Yeah,
can
there you
see
go.
that?
Here, who wants to? Here, Sam. Can you zoom in on this? How about you like work the camera instead of the box? This is like the guy who drags the bucket of water to the horse. Like you bring the river to the horse instead of the horse to the river. What are you
Sam
doing?
does nothing easily.
What are you
he
doing?
He likes a challenge.
Oh man.
So there you can see at least some of the figures that we got for the game. I believe some of the tiles, and as I told Sam, that there are outdoor tiles and indoor tiles, and it is the first time I think we have outdoor tiles. So they're very nice jungle tiles in the game.
Okay, cool.
So that's yeah.
No, it's fine. It worked, right? Yeah, you're good. That's fine. This is probably a really bad close-up right now that he's giving us. Can you tell me a little bit about the MSRP on some of those releases? You guys didn't really go into
Good question.
that. If you know any of them, I don't know.
So just quickly, Fantasy Realm is $20. Dicebot Mega Fun, I believe, is $25. Expanse, I think, is going to be $50. Deadline $45. Sidereal Confluence $65. The Tomb of Annihilation, I believe it's going to be, and please don't quote me because I think $80 for the unpainted and around $150 for the painted version.
And that one's, again, that's not solid numbers on that one especially.
Exactly,
'Cause
but it is
it's a little farther
pre-painted.
up.
Those are going to be pre-painted, like 42 figures. Really, really good stuff.
Okay,
Look
cool.
at the Juggernaut, man. We got a Juggernaut right there. That's going to be awesome. This thing's going to chase you down the corridors.
All right, cool. All right, I think that's it, man. Anything else you want to plug? Any websites people should check out? Or
WizKids,
places they can
definitely
check you out?
WizKids.com.
Yeah,
WizKids.com. Yeah, you'll find stuff there. Slowly but surely, we are building up our website for board games. So as that happens, hopefully that will continue to grow and give more information. We do try to update rules now as well, and on Board Game Geek and a few other places. But hopefully we'll continue to push that stuff and get information out there.
Okay, sounds good, man.
My pleasure.
Good talking to you,
Same here.
as always.
Yes.
All right, Zev. Have a good rest of the day. We'll see you, brother. Yes, I will sign us off. That's it? We're done? All right, we are wrapping it up for today, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for hanging out in the comments with me, especially. That's what you get, baby. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. We're gone.